Okay. Woo. Wow. What a show. What a show. We had we had some of those numbers past few nights. So thank you very much. Um and we're just going to keep keep powering through, and it looks like Metzger's got another one out there. Okay, so we're just gonna uh, find some classics and have a little fun. But wow, um, getting a little bit of that pop. Okay, seen those numbers. Uh, bring it on over here. I mean, look at this, 198. Thank you so much. And let me go ahead and hit the old reset. And that is correct, folks. We are at 200. Oh, man. So thank you so much. We stream in the evenings for right now. And we watch shows and pick out the funny things in them. And then we like to watch conspiracy theories. And Kurt Metzger is a great conspiracy theory portal. So, and he's on a generational run right now. But we'll give him some time to breathe and get that views to the source. And in the meantime, let's see if I can switch this on the fly, because one second, folks. Sorry. See, trying to bring you over to the show screen here. There we go. We got something that I've been talking about, or that I had mentioned before, that would be really nice to watch, is the Seth Green episode of Club Random. And this was 4 months ago. He even mentions Andy Dick getting hit by Marilyn Manson, which is mentioned when Andy Dick was on Jamie Kennedy. But this was 4 months ago. This is before Tequila Bill. So there might be a bit of a difference in him than what's been happening lately. He's been very, oh yeah, and like jumping up and like pointing at people and barking orders. But Seth Green mentions Macaulay Culkin and a few other stories. And since we're waiting for another club random, I thought this would be a good time to take a look at this Seth Green episode. He does voiceovers, and I don't think I've seen him do too much as far as podcast or anything. And I remember when I saw this, I thought, oh, he has an interesting voice. So let's take a look at Club Random with Seth Green and Bill Maher.
Random is brought to you by Radioactive Media, number 20 on Inc. magazine's fastest growing private companies in the Pacific region.
Nope, he is full tequila, I guess. No, this is his whiskey days. Let me go ahead and get it back on that. Sorry about that.
Radioactive knows how.
Now, let's go ahead and skip through here. We're a big fan of the Club Random aesthetic. We even adopted a bit of an overlay too. We like it. All right, here we are. Old club. Look how nice that looks, huh? I mean, he pretty much created his own vibe. He's a vibe maker. And there's these podcast studios that people rent out that have this blue painted wall. Duncan comes into the studio. It's like a music rehearsal space converted to podcast space. And you rent it out hourly. And then I'll show you the other angle here. Right here. So that's the exterior wall, the door there. So that's how big that room is. They rent it out for a couple hours. So we're all doing this color in the brick. That's what we're all doing. All because of Bill Maher. Now, we will discuss at some point just how wrong this trim is. And how, for the first time, Duncan doesn't look too goofy. And that I've seen worse. But that's what I'm saying. You gotta let it grow out. Now I think he trimmed it or something. He's trying to split the Red Sea. But don't be trimming. But here we are. That everyone's doing that now. All because of Club Random. Club Random. See, like, even that neon light, watch this. I'll even give it a little bit more neon light. Club Random. There. Club Random. See? So Club Random Trendsetter.
Their options. Which
I
thought
said
an
that. I
incredible
was the first one
observation.
to say that. That was my joke.
I'm not here to debate that, but he
Oh, that's right. I remember. Okay. Yeah, I remember how Seth Green really kind of directs the whole kind of conversation, and it's a good watch. It's a good watch. But here we are, Seth Green. I even like the font, and it's great.
You got Seth Green?
over
Let's
here.
do a fucking show.
What's up,
How
buddy?
are you?
I'm good. How you
Look
doing?
at you. You look the same as ever.
So do you.
Okay, so here we are. Now, in our previous Club Random episodes, we've discussed the three types of interviewees. There's the ones that stand up to greet Bill Maher and walk down to greet him. There's, which is what Marshawn Lynch did. There is standing up at the seat. You're sitting down, you stand up at the seat, and you wait for Bill Maher to walk to you, and you shake his hand. That is what his who was that? It was a couple episodes ago. Forgot his name. And then there are the ones that sit down and remain seated and just shake his hand. And then Bill Maher sits down. And that's what Adam Carolla did. And look at that. Oh, look at that. They even have the guitar there. Now, the guitar. Now this is episode's four months old. The guitar is no longer there. And let me repeat that. Bill Maher's guitar is no longer there. And those who have been watching our coverage with the Marshawn Lynch, you'll discover that Bill Maher just about knocked the guitar down. And it had everything to do with Marshawn Lynch. And it was awesome. So there's an old trusty guitar. Just hanging in the balance on the head of the guitar. Or the neck. So Seth Green stepped all the way pretty much all the way down. He's definitely on the lower platform, and he's stepping up. So you already know what kind of show we're going to have. Just by that alone. Okay? It's going to be a Jumanji up here. Shit. Okay? It's going to get Jumanji up in here. If you are walking down there, greeting him, and not letting Bill Maher get his runaway shot, it's going to get Jumanji up in here. And that's according to Marshawn Lynch. So he's walked down to greet him. It's going to be a good episode. Seth Green, folks. This is 4 months ago. Before Bill Maher changed up his vice. He's now on tequila, and he's yelling at everybody. Slurring his words and just... And this is back when he used to be a lot more chill, a lot more centered. I don't know if he was drinking whiskey instead. He was drinking something else. And so let's see what happens here.
Really, you do. You have the same exact look.
Yeah?
I mean, I haven't seen you in person in forever.
It's been a minute. I feel like the last time I saw you was like, if it wasn't McFarlane's birthday party.
Probably.
Maybe at like, do you remember that? Maybe the Chateau? It feels like the last time I really saw you in person. Maybe after that at the Emmys, something Emmys.
I mean, Seth and I, who I adore so much, and some of his paraphernalia is around here somewhere.
Yeah.
But one birthday party, we did have a big fight about it because it was COVID, and he was like, he was a COVID paranoid. I'm sorry, I love him, but I think that's my view. He would say, I'm whatever, I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. But, we've had that. We once had a screaming match in the middle of the Tower Bar over dinner about this. But that's what friends do.
I think
Real friends talk. And sometimes yell, and then you come back to loving.
Yeah, I've always valued civil discourse. I brought some weed. I know you like weed. Do you have your own weed?
I grow it here.
You do?
Yeah, right. I mean, probably 10 feet away, there's a pot plant growing.
You're kidding? What kind of, is it like, what do you have, indicas? What do you like?
Well, I have an old friend who went to prison for pot, Todd McCormick. He's a famous pot revolutionary.
Yeah.
Done a lot, as much as anyone for the cause. now he's into seeds. You know, he's got a huge seed business. No, I brought my own. I don't trust you.
You don't trust me?
I love you, but I don't trust you because I own.
Oh. Bill Maher picked up on something, huh? Just right out of the gate. I don't trust you. Bill Maher did this to Marshawn Lynch, too. Right out of the gate. He was quite hostile to Marshawn. It seemed that there was some kind of altercation that might have happened right before the interview. And there were several Marshawn occasions that had happened throughout the interview. So Bill Maher kind of he found a way to say what he thought about him.
I brought my own. I don't trust you.
You don't trust me?
I love you, but I don't trust you because I only want to grow the stuff that I know is super clean, grown here.
Sure.
And his thing is seeds now. It's
I'm happy to try yours if you're
Please do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's $10.
Okay. I got, do you take crypto?
Here, we don't have to share like it's the 60s. We can just do too far away.
Isn't that the best part? Like, I remember super illegal weed, and I remember, like, don't you remember when, like, I feel like it was the early 90s, Woody Harrelson got arrested for, like, planting
hemp.
weed. Don't you remember this?
Not weed, hemp.
Yeah, just hemp. Don't you remember?
But I mean, the reason why that's a whole different kettle of fish is that he was making the point that hemp, which is also illegal, not weed. And if you don't believe me, try.
So this looks like it was back when he was smoking joints. Now he looks healthy. He seems coherent. But I think he's switched to edibles. And he's just lost in the sauce the whole time. The whole time he's just swirling. And I wonder if he should get back on his old vices.
To get high on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cousin of weed, but you know, it was used to the parchment that the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution or some old document is signed on it.
Yeah.
And you can use it to make a sailboat. You can use it to make a parachute. You know,
right. You can't use it to get high without a lot of chemical processing.
Yeah. It has to be mixed with the THC variety. Yeah. I mean, that's
okay. He's like, so you don't trust me, huh? Wow, this set sure looks nice. Be a shame if all this really dry material accidentally got cut up. You know, this is 4 months ago. When was the Malibu fires? You seem awfully comfortable with the lighter.
What a lot of CBD oils and stuff. Do you use that stuff? Do you rub that on your dick?
Yeah. Oh, as hard and as vigorously as possible.
I don't think it's the CBD. Me too. I don't know if it's the CBD that's making me feel good when I do that.
Might just be the friction.
I bet that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
What kind of friction you into?
Not the kind with the Hollywood community, but there's certainly
I'll
plenty.
tell you what, Bill. Like, that's why I don't go to anybody's house. I stay
Really?
home. I don't talk on the press line. I mean, not like that, but I
So this must have been like right after P. Diddy kind of stuff. And with this being 4 months ago, this is kind of giving me a bit of a break of the Epstein effect on everything. And you can go back and look at material and see how things were before we knew.
Kind of just never, really early on, I just recognized before everybody was sort of toxified by social media in general, or empowered to speak their most immediate reaction without any
Speak
kind
their
of
truth.
but
So, I mean, is he talking about the Cappy thing, the Isaac Cappy? Do you think Bill Maher knows about that?
sort of toxified by social media in general, or empowered to speak their most immediate reaction without any
Speak
kind
their
of
truth.
but even more than just like react. Like
It's a reaction channel.
Just don't fuck with faith, right? Like you
There he is. So, it's like, just don't.
like I knew you just don't fuck with faith, right? Like you don't get at somebody about their theological core stuff, the stuff that they share with only themselves, truly. Like there's really no fucking with that. If somebody believes something, like that's theirs to believe. But I also believe in differences of opinion. I also
Did you hear that sigh? The difference in opinion.
it's theirs to believe. But I also believe in differences of opinion. I also believe in people being able to have a conversation and marvel at each other's
Not everyone
differences.
does.
And of course not. Of course not. It's gotten so much worse and so much shittier, and I really struggle with that. I think the most I struggle with that, like having. And I really struggle with that. I think the most I struggle with that. So much shittier, and I really struggle with that. I think the most I struggle.
Yeah, exactly, Jan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has these voices
With that.
but it looks like it's directed to Bill specifically. Unless he's having PTSD and he's having like a flashback or something, but why would he? Because this is a bit the whole thing is condescending. It's like, just need to have be able to talk about differences of opinion. You know how people are.
Like that's theirs to believe, but I also believe in differences of opinion. I also believe in people being able to have a conversation and marvel at each other's differences. And of course not. Of course not. It's gotten so much worse and so much shittier, and I really struggle with that. I think the most I struggle with that, like having to adjust my worldview to see this volume of active division and hate mongering.
But of course, the difference with us is that I have to. This is what I do for a living: is talk about issues.
I know you got to get into it.
And you, smart, shouldn't
Create it.
and don't.
Yeah, but here I am on your show. This is funny.
Yeah,
I realize this is going to be the longest conversation we ever
specifically
have.
for not necessarily doing that.
Oh, good. But you and I have known each other long enough, and we're both come from comedy enough to talk about that. Like, I love stand-up. I love comedy.
I mean, if he could do a little mafia work, you know, like just some mafia roles. Yeah, exactly. You do it like up. That's exactly it. Yeah, doing like the Godfather, and even how he was just like letting it hold, like having the flame just stay there. It's like, whew, very threatening.
Oh, good. But you and I have known each other long enough, and we're both come from comedy enough to talk about that. Like, I love each other long enough, and we're
specifically for not necessarily doing that.
Oh, good. But you and I have known each
Whoa. The Hollywood death cult. Pauly Shore. Seth Green. And Andy Dick. The trilateral Hollywood agreement.
other long enough, and we're both come from comedy enough to talk about that. Like, I love stand-up. I love comedy. It's probably one of my favorite.
I mean, obviously, we didn't do a very good job of communication, because the number one thing we've tried to communicate, obviously failingly, is that I started this because I have a show about politics.
Right.
And there's a million other things to talk about. Now, this show
You're
has...
saying I didn't do enough homework,
which is not you.
They probably sent me a lot of emails and texts, and I have a really bad time reading any of that. I get a lot of emails every day.
Okay, all right, we'll blame it on that. But whatever it is, now sometimes it veers into that depending on the guests. Sure, because I have no agenda. I have pot and liquor, and that's it. And
he needs another cushion. Seth Green needs another. He's realizing like how short he is, you know. Now Seth Green is tall to me. Okay. Seth Green's like 5 foot or whatever, and I'm only 4'3". So everyone's a giant, but he wants to be a little bit taller. He keeps he keeps adjusting himself because he is sinking in this high back chair.
Sure, because I have no agenda. I have to blame it on that. But whatever it is, now sometimes it veers into that depending on the guests. Sure, because I have no agenda. I have pot and liquor, and that's it. And I all my life.
Hold on, that screen's frozen here.
Wanted to do a show.
1 second, folks. Just a little technical error. For whatever reason, the screen is frozen. I can't even scroll or anything. Oh, there we go. Wow. All right, I think it looks like we're back here. All right. Oh.
Who rolls these in tobacco leaves for you? Because that's a move.
No, this is not tobacco. I promise. There's no tobacco.
What is it? What's this brown?
You know, it's just it's the healthy kind.
Yeah,
It's
you got filters and everything. This is smooth.
Yeah. I'm telling you. I'm 70. I'm trying to like live.
You're 70?
Yeah. What are you?
I'm 51. I would have put you at maybe 64, maybe 65.
Okay. Well, I shaved off 5 years. What a thrill.
Don't you feel like it's so different now? Like I even look at pictures of Ted Knight.
Ted Knight?
Yeah, Ted Knight. And he was like 41. And he looked like he was 80. Conrad Bain.
His Zippos never work. Like he's trying to do it to make it look cool and everything. And they hardly work, and then he tries to close it and it doesn't close like it does in the movies. He wants to light a match with the heel of his boot.
Was like, I don't even think he was 40 when he was making different strokes. Like he was playing the young rich guy on that show.
Why do you?
He was making 80. Conrad Bain. Ted Knight. Different now. Like I even look at pictures of Ted Knight.
Ted Knight?
Yeah, Ted Knight. And he was like 41.
Okay. So he is not able to light it, right? So it's not lit. The lighter is not working. Let's take it back and watch this.
Don't you feel like it's so
Watch what
different
Seth
now?
Green
Like I
does.
even look at pictures of Ted Knight.
Ted Knight?
Yeah, Ted Knight. And he was like 41. And he looked like he was 80. Conrad
He's
Bain.
trying to fix it. He's trying to.
I don't even.
He's like, oh man. Okay. Now. The lighter didn't work. He messed with it, and now he's getting ready to set it down. So he has not lit that yet. Now you'd think that, oh hey, your lighter's not working. Here, you want to use mine, right? All right. Well, let's just see what happens here.
Don't you feel like it's so different now? Like I even look at pictures of Ted Knight.
Ted Knight?
Yeah, Ted Knight. And he was like 41. And he looked like he was 80. Conrad Bain was like, I don't even think he was 40 when he was making different strokes. Like he was playing the young rich guy on that show.
Why do you?
He picks up his lighter and palms it. He didn't want Bill Maher to take his lighter. So he went and grabbed it real quick. He didn't even offer to light it. Watch this.
Like he was 80. Conrad Bain was like,
He puts his lighter down.
He was 40 when he
right when he put it down, right at the exact moment Bill Maher puts his lighter down, Seth Green picks up his lighter. His Bic lighter. And now
was making different strokes, like he was playing the.
Oh, it looks like maybe Bill Maher did get something there. Let's see that again.
I don't even think he was 40 when he was making different strokes. Like he was playing the young rich guy on that show.
Okay.
Why do young girls now want to like?
Oh, yep. He does have one. Okay. I thought he was trying to take the lighter away so he wouldn't take it. Okay. So Bill Maher does have his own lighter. But oh man. He's just like, nope, you ain't having it. Okay. All right, well, false alarm. Here we are.
Do shit that makes them look older.
What do you mean?
Oh, there he is.
A lot of time.
There he is. Now I know that people like to cook it, but it's almost like a flex. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm walking around your house with this open flame.
Strokes, like he was playing the young rich guy on that show.
Why do young girls now want to like do shit that makes them look older?
What do you mean?
I mean, like a lot of time they're like, well, for example, beauty, Miss Universe types, beauty contestants. They're 19 and they look 40. Like, how do you?
Just because they've done like surgery or makeup and.
I'm asking. I mean, yes, and then you don't have to be a beauty contestant. They do things to themselves, I think, that make them look older.
Yeah. As a kid performer, I can tell you that's always been the push, is to make anything younger look older. I don't know why. I don't know what sense that makes.
I'm talking about a normal 19-year-old girl. Why is she, doing plastic surgery at the very age when you don't need it? Nature is
social. I think that's the
totally,
social media.
Of course.
I think the social media is
absolutely.
There was I have to scientifically recognize that we're still in the early beta of any of these social constructs. Like even the idea, we're just entering into generations that are born without it ever having not been there. Like it's always been this way. But I think there should be. I see all these legal gatekeeps across internet porn. I think the
All right, so now here he is trying to show Bill Maher his way of lighting it. It's like, hey, if it's not tobacco leaves, don't be puffing on it. Allow the flame to do it. Bill Maher will just take a straight old puff. Get all that benzene from that lighter. And he's like, dude, you're not doing it right. Oh my God. Seth Green is reminiscing of the days before he was black-pilled on lighting things. He knows that you're supposed to cook it and not just take a drag from it. And he wishes that he could just do it so quickly like that, but ignorance is bliss. And Bill Maher is in nirvana. So Seth Green does not agree with this type of technique. And he's like, bruh, can't believe you. Just do it like that.
Not been there, like it's always been this way. But I think there should be, I see all these legal gatekeeps across internet porn. I think the socials should have the same kind of checks, right? They're trying to dox people over internet porn. You know what I'm saying?
What gatekeeps are on porn?
A lot of these states and countries have passed laws that you can't watch anything. Like you can't.
Seems like there's everything on there.
Right. But a lot of these sites, like your major traffic, it's now requiring you some kind of like personal doxing. Like this is who I am as a human. This is my age and my driver's license. And I just think that that's not cool at all, like asking people to sign up.
But isn't that just to make sure they're not underage?
It is, but also now you've got a database of that. You know what I mean? Now you got a database of people that are watching porn.
Also, I think it's a fool's errand to think that you can outsmart a 13-year-old.
I know you're talking to the original Napster.
Right. Yeah. No, right. But aren't I right about that?
Yeah, of course. Like the people will always figure out how to get it for free. I don't think that's it. It's more like the idea of the law coming into place where someone can get arrested for getting porn illegally or porn before they're willing to give up their civil liberty of their name and their driver's license number.
It is amazing that at 51, you still kind of have retained your cred as, you know, a tribune of the youth.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
thanks, man.
that's who. I mean, that's who you are. You kind of.
He's like, oh, the youth. Oh, gee, thanks. Yeah. Oh, well, thanks, Bill. That's so nice of you. The thing that I've been trying to shake up my whole life. Okay, I've been trying to tell people that I'm an adult. They keep thinking I'm a youth. Can you give me a booster seat, please?
Porn illegally or porn before they're willing to give up their civil liberty of their name and their driver's license number.
It is amazing that at 51, you still kind of have retained your cred as, you know, a tribune of the youth.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks,
I mean,
man.
that's who. I mean, that's who you are. You kind of. Again, you don't look your age. You know, it's like you know, part of it is because you're short. You know,
I think so too, right?
You know,
Nobody's like, they're like this kid.
well, you know, it's like you look like I'm watching Wednesday, you know, which is such a fun show. And it helps that she's
So
short.
little, yeah.
You know, because she obviously is not a kid, but she, you know, that size, she against all the adults in the cast.
Yeah.
She
and
looks
they cast like big people too.
right.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. But you know, you just have a youthful way, and you know, I don't know. It's very hard to do. To start as a child. I mean, you started as a child.
I didn't get famous when I was a kid, and I think that's really
But
the
you were
key.
in it.
I was in it, but I
Right.
was in it as sort of like a character actor in the weirdest way. And since I was just sort of on the edges of all this shit, I worked all the time, but I never got any of these big showy roles. I was just sort of.
He was always the angst teenager, like the stepchild.
The other guy in the movie. And that, I think, helped give me some credibility, helped me build my own skill set, helped me really build up discipline and also humility. And then I got to watch person after person after person fuck it up again and again and again.
Right.
Through all the different means to the point where I was like, wow, I'm never going to do that.
Maybe
So-
if you had become famous at that age, right now you'd be humping parked cars like some of these fucking
Right? Hey, look, you know, don't kink shame, Bill. I mean, you of all people.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What do you mean of all people? Like,
Come on, man. You try to keep everybody out your bedroom, same as any American person. Like, stay the fuck out my bedroom. We do whatever I want.
Yeah, but I don't. But you don't know.
If you want to hump park cars, Bill, like, I'm not trying to tell you that's not okay. Just make sure it's your car and that the car is consensual.
I'm just saying there's a lot of nutty
There's that voice
things
again.
that have happened with child actors. I mean, the percentage. It seems, I don't know, you know, I don't know people of other pursuits in life as much as I know, and we read about, of course, people in show business, but it seems like a greater percentage of them do crack up and become, I mean, kooky, you know, like homeless, crazy kind of kooky.
It's very hard. And there's a thing that a lot of people don't understand is that even if you stay famous, even if you don't have any money. And that's what happened to Gary Coleman, was like Gary couldn't get work and he just couldn't get work. So there's no way for Gary to make money. There weren't the same kind of mechanisms in place now for people to do trade shows or fan expos to like make money being Gary Coleman.
Oh, sound like a deaf person. Interesting. What if he's around deaf children all the time?
So he had to suffer indignity after indignity. He lost all his money in one way or another. His parents totally fucked him over, so much so that there were like laws written on his behalf. And it sucks that that kid had to go through all that just to show these other kids how to not do it. But there's no safety net for kid actors. You know what I mean? You're really on your own.
You make such a great point there that people don't think about. Wealth is associated with fame.
Yeah, right?
So if you are, as you say, famous,
like
but don't have any money, then you have this double humiliation of, what are you doing on the subway? I know why I'm on the subway. There's no shame in me being on the subway.
Why you working the security guard gig?
Right.
Yeah, poor fucking Gary.
I remember Armie Hammer was selling real estate in the Bahamas for a minute.
Whoa, we were just talking about Armie Hammer. Interesting, yeah. Because now the Epstein files are out, and it's all that cannibalism. Well, maybe Armie Hammer's got ties in there. And the old Isaac Cappy thing with Seth Green. You know, you expose Seth Green. And then he died.
I'd buy a house from that guy.
The kitchen was a little different.
You know what? It's got really big ovens.
He sat here. I was happy to do my part in
Armie did. Sat here?
Yeah.
I loved him in, there was a movie.
Oh, interesting. He's like, wait, no, he did? What? I wonder what they got with each other. What was he saying before? I was going to say something.
The kitchen was a little different.
You know what? It's got really big ovens.
He sat here. I was happy to do my part in.
Armie did.
I forgot.
Sat here?
Yeah.
I loved him in, there was a movie.
He's not a cannibal.
He and Henry Cavill did The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and it was fucking great.
I love The Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Alicia Vikander was also in
it. Maybe.
She's very attractive young lady, yes.
Well, yeah, that too.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Oh, that I was saying? Nah, she's amazing. I've seen her play a bunch of different roles.
Actress,
she's super convincing. Yeah. Fucking great.
I love The Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Alicia Vikander was also in that.
Isn't she the best, man?
She's very attractive young lady, yes.
Well, yeah, that too.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Oh, that I was saying? Nah, she's amazing. I've seen her play a bunch of different roles.
Actress,
she's super convincing.
Yeah,
she looks the part though, but most people.
And she, could have been Wednesday, is what I.
You're not wrong.
No, that girl's Jenna Ortega. She's perfect for that part. She
Have you met her?
Kills it. No.
Me neither.
I don't go out to a lot of. I mean, I go out more than you. Apparently, you seem to be saying that you're just a complete stay-at-home.
I'm not.
But you're married, right?
I am married. Yeah. We have a almost 3-year-old that keeps me home a lot.
There you go. You've got the.
But I go out. I do the stuff that feels like the prom stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I went to that.
Not really, but I kind of do. What, like award shows?
Well, yeah. You go to the stuff that is like your peers at this moment in the year.
I love the Vanity Fair Oscar party.
Right on. So there's like a particular party you go to where it's like, I know everybody here. This is great.
I don't know everybody there, but I know who everybody is there, and it's fun. Like a petting zoo is fun to stand in the middle of a room and see nothing but stars.
And everybody knows you. Everybody knows you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say everybody because there are certain demographics that are elusive. Let's glide over that. But you know, anyone who knows, like, you know, what the war in Ukraine is probably knows who I am. But yes, there are, you know, look, this is Hollywood. Never underestimate what people don't know in this town. This is not a town.
You're not wrong.
It is not a town.
People's blind spots are
It is
enormous.
not built on knowledge. It is built on talent. They are, Sally Field once said it. She said, you know, this town is full of shit, but they adore talent. And it is true. And they're very good at finding it. You know, I always think for the people who are like, well, I never got my break. Well, it's possible you could have just gotten bad breaks. That's true. But generally, the cream rises to the top. Club Random is brought to you by...
I agree with that. I think that creative energy travels throughout the world. And for quite a while, it was in LA. But according to Joel Rogan, it's deep in the heart of Austin. Move away from Austin and make Austin great again.
Meals delivered.
But I agree. You got to be pretty talented to, well, sometimes you did, but to get their attention.
I did notice it because I've had different moments. I've gotten to work on all kinds of sets, like first-time director indies and like massive studio projects that have the full weight of multiple companies behind them in it.
I mean, like Austin Powers?
Yeah, like Austin Powers, Italian Job.
Yeah.
What's that? When we made Without a Paddle, Paramount.
Yeah, big A-list.
Yeah.
Big budget.
Yeah, I got to do that movie.
Big box office movies.
Yeah, exactly. The thing I got to do with Travolta and Robin Williams, they had a ton of money behind that.
What was that?
It's called Old Dogs for Disney.
Of course. Yeah. Old Dog.
I know, right? It's got me with a costumed man in a gorilla.
A
gorilla costume.
There's a whole genre now. I call them geezer movies, where, you know, these are movies where actors who were huge stars, you have to be a huge star to begin with, for decades, now are 80. And there obviously is an appetite from the public, a certain percentage, to still see Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Morgan Freeman. So, I mean, what kind of script can you have for an 80? They have to be geezer movies. They have
but there's the
Bad Grandpa, you know.
Or like that heist movie that Zach Braff directed that had like Morgan in it, Michael Caine in it. The heist movie.
This, I'm telling you, it's
but
a
don't you remember like Grumpy Old Men? Don't you remember like Short Circuit? Not Short Circuit. Batteries Not Included or Cocoon even. Yeah. Like this has always been a thing. Like we always watch.
I think it's more now. Yes, they always did that. But I feel like in the old days, no, they put you out to pasture and the actors had more dignity. You know, they were Cary Grant-ish, Greta Garbo-ish. Like, I've had my moment.
It moved in the 80s. You got your Hume Cronins, your Jessica Tandy's.
Yeah, that was one movie. I feel like now what they do is they seg into, they were known as great, you know, dramatic actors, but they seg into the comedy world.
You're talking specifically about Helen Mirren and stuff like Red.
Helen Mirren. I'm telling you, De Niro, Morgan Freeman, Al Pacino.
De Niro's got a lot of childcare to pay. You know, he's doing those movies.
I'm not knocking it.
Oh.
I'm just saying it's a phenomenon that we did not used to have to this level.
I don't know. We could compare release things, but I do take your point.
I'm arguing harder than this than I do about tariffs.
No, this is really fun. Hey, here's to that. Here's to toasting about nothing that matters.
So, so tell me about your life. Like, so you're married. You got married, like what most people would say, late in life, right?
I guess so. Yeah, I was in my later 30s. But I went.
Oh, later 30s.
Yeah.
How
but not
long
too
you been
bad.
married?
We've been married 15 years.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy, right? That's crazy to think about. Neither one of us thought that was gonna happen to us.
Neither you
one
or
of us.
your wife or me or
Yeah.
you.
No, neither me or my wife.
Oh.
We both just had been through a lot of life. We both had had a lot of experience and sort of learned a lot about ourselves and about what we wanted, what we didn't want. I learned a lot of.
That's smart. No one's ready to get married before. That's a perfect time to get married if you're going to do it.
It worked for me. It worked for me. I really can't prescribe anybody anything, but I felt like we lucked out in a lot of ways, and I learned a lot of shit on other girls' time. There's really nothing you can do about it.
Now, are these lifts on his shoes? Yep, I agree, Lemons. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They took it down. Sorry, folks, a little technical issue here. See if it. See if it'll reset.
About what we wanted, what we didn't want. I learned a lot of.
That's smart. No.
Wow. So. Oh, that's not my default settings, huh?
No one's ready to get married before. That's a perfect time to get married if you're going to do it.
It worked for me. It worked for me. I really can't prescribe anybody anything, but I felt like we lucked out.
So we're all kind of feeling this kind of Seth Green energy, right? This he's always kind of pushing back at everything that's being said to him, and just like, oh yeah, well yeah, that's really good for you, yeah. Well, back to what we were saying. And yeah, performative. Yeah, maybe maybe Seth Green is sticking to the PR script. Bet they had a big old PR. It's like, this is what you say and do now. You do not mention pizza or chicken. You don't mention the YouTuber that called you out. So now that the Epstein files are out, and this was 4 months ago, so this is pre-Epstein file dump, and I wanted to kind of just take a break, watch some content that was pre-Epstein, and according to some YouTubers a few years ago, he could very well be in those files. Allegedly.
In a lot of ways. And I learned a lot of shit on other girls' time. You know, there's
well,
really nothing you can do about it.
We all do,
except do it.
and we all. Well, I'm not going to speak for everybody. I have some guilt about that.
Of course.
Not that I really should have guilt, because how could you help it? You're young and you're dumb, and you got to learn. And if you're learning, you know, comedy, you do it in front of an audience, and you bomb, and it's painful, and it's got to. You inflicted that pain on that audience who had to sit through your shitty.
I like this metaphor. Yeah.
Learning phase. And it's the same thing with relationships.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that I did, I go, oh my God, I can't believe I was that stupid. Nothing horrific, just like dumbass shit that you just would never do now.
Yeah.
You know, yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I mean, that is. What does Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin do all the time? How come I'm not invited? They got that White Rabbit, White Bunny project. Or they did a while ago.
do now.
Yeah.
You know, yes, but I all I can assume is that the girl was to a degree doing that on guys too. Now, of course, girls mature much faster, so I think their phase of being dumb ends a lot quicker than ours.
I don't know. It just depends on, I think I discovered, at least for myself, that each of the longer term relationships I was in, there was a bit of me trying on some other persona for size, right? Where this was a girl who had
For
this
size.
way, and she.
For size. See, he's all about the size. Persona for size. Yeah, he's doing the Black Swan right now. Just the crane trying to appear bigger. Ain't never gonna happen, Seth Green. Ain't never gonna happen. I mean, that's a full extension.
And some other persona for size, right? Where this was a girl who had this way, and she came from this, and it seemed like that, and like these things, and we had this in common.
Yeah,
and let's see how this
peacocking.
goes. You know what I mean? It was not, I look at other people and I see, oh, you dated all these girls with dark hair with bangs. It's like a very specific, oh, never a girl without tattoos, or only a girl from this city, or, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, of course. Don't you know people with
a
type? Yeah, a type. I don't feel like I had a type. I just sort of try to.
Really? You never had a type?
A lot of things on for size.
Yeah, I would.
For size.
Type. I just sort of tried a lot of things on for size.
Yeah, I would say I'm the same way. I mean, my type was hot because I was just young and horny.
What kind of things drive you? What do you think? What do you consider hot? Like, can a girl be hot if she's not physically attractive?
No. What I mean, that's not even 101.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing I can give you.
I'm sorry, but that's just the truth.
No. I
hot
understand.
to you. Now that's different. What's different? Hot to you may not be hot to me.
That's totally fair.
But you know, it's totally fair. And by the way, it's something everybody would agree on.
Wouldn't it be funny if I was like, "That's not fair. We're gonna fight about this"?
You seem to want to fight about everything, which is fine. I'm more than happy to fight.
Do I seem like I want to?
Oh, see?
I feel like you're like.
Oh, see, he brings it. Look at it. He brings it up. That's what I'm saying. He's like trying to fight. He's like pushing against everything that Bill Maher is saying, and Bill actually brings it up here.
everything, which is fine. I'm more than.
I was like that.
But you know, it's totally fair. And by the way, it's something everybody would agree on.
Wouldn't it be funny if I was like, "That's not fair. We're gonna fight about this"?
You seem to want to fight about everything, which is fine. I'm more than happy to fight.
Do I seem like I want to fight?
I feel like you're like I say X, you say Y kind of person.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly what I was saying too.
I mean to be like that.
I don't. You can be. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of fun.
Okay.
For a half hour.
What the fuck are you talking about, Bill? We're not gonna do this.
Yeah. But I had a girlfriend once who was just like that. Like why I was in this relationship, I don't know. It was dumb, but I'd say X, she'd say Y. I mean, it's just tedious.
Yeah.
But no, I mean.
No. So he basically said that Seth Green is tedious and acts like a woman, like a girl he dated.
People just don't agree on everything, and that's fine. But what were we talking about?
We were talking about pulling hot girls once you got famous.
No, we weren't.
What?
We weren't actually talking about that. We were
That's
talking.
sort of what it
we were talking
sounded
about.
like.
No, we were
That's
talking
what it
about
was circling around.
You just wanted to get to that. We were talking about what constitutes attraction, and if hotness was a part of it. And like I said, of course it is, but it depends on what you think is hot. I mean, you know, Billy Corgan was here.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he's very cool.
I really like him. I just got to meet him for the first time. I was at a, there was a big music festival and Green Day played. I don't know if you know this, but they're touring like the anniversaries of both.
Green Day.
Me too.
They do the theme to my show. You know,
You're kidding?
No, they perform the theme to
Oh,
Real
that's
Time.
amazing. Have you had anybody on here? Like Mike would come on here in a second, I'm sure. Billy.
I want them all.
Yeah?
I've had Billy Joe on the show, on Real Time years ago. But
this kind of long form though, fuck, you'd never.
Oh, I'd love to. I mean, I love.
It's just Tangent City though.
I'm
like
such a
trying to
fan
get appointed
of their music.
Yeah, they're the fucking best. They put on a show, but I got
Tangent
to see
City.
Puppets play beforehand. They
Yeah.
put on a great show at this festival, and then Green Day played the anniversary. It's like the 20th anniversary of American Idiot and the 30th anniversary of Dookie, and they just put up a big balloon and play the whole fucking record. It's so cool, man.
Yeah, is it? It's so cool, man. The quieter you are, the less cool it is. The quieter you got to be, the more false it is. Yeah, Billy Corgan his podcast is doing pretty good. Yeah, he's a good interviewer.
Balloon and play the whole fucking record. It's so cool, man. They sound unbelievable. They look insane. I can't believe it. And they're all like really adults. I've been seeing these guys play music over 20 years.
They're like really adults, but they look like kids just like me.
Like I saw them the first time, had to be like 94, 95.
Yeah, sure.
The first time I saw them. It's amazing to see them now. They're just unbelievable.
It's amazing. I mean, they're a great band, and it's amazing how many great bands. And really, why shouldn't they? But continue on. I mean, the Rolling Stones are on tour this year. They're post-80.
Have you gotten to see them?
Yeah.
Well, I've only gotten to see them one time, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, really awesome.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. It is cool they're still doing it. Oh, my God, did you see this?
They know what they're doing. And he's saying that because he's seeing Seth Green light it like that, and he's thinking, well, I guess he knows what he's doing.
Really awesome.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. It is cool they're still doing it. Oh my God, did you see the Spinal Tap movie?
Not yet, but Rob was here a couple weeks ago.
I love him so much. I think I froze up.
All right, so here's a Rob Reiner reference. So this is before Rob Reiner was murdered. Wonder if that was Epstein related. Well, I mean, I know it's related in other ways, but a lot of crazy things happened before all this. Just got to take a look, take a look at some of these archive footage now. And
not yet, but Rob was here a couple weeks ago.
I love him so much. I think I froze up. Like, looking back, I went to the premiere. I saw everybody. I've known Michael McKean for a long time because I made a movie with his wife when I was a child, which is hilarious. So when we see each other.
Oh, he like got up on the seat again. That's the get up thing that all the podcasters do. They always get up out of their seat a little bit, try to lift themselves up to, it's kind of like, ooh, wow. So, kind of, trying to get above the situation or appear more superior to the thing that they're about to talk about.
And all this shit, it's like, oh, hey, remember me when I was a kid? Anyway, I tried really hard to find it in to talk to Christopher Guest.
But I think he's saying that he did a movie as a child with an adult
child, which is hilarious. So for a long time because I made a movie with his wife when I was a child, which is hilarious. So when we see each other and all this shit, it's like, oh, hey, remember me when I was a kid? Anyway, I tried really hard to find it in to talk to Christopher Guest, and you know how it is, man. You have one of these things and you're like very far away from a person and you sort of catch each other's eye.
Right.
And you like try to muster up the courage to give like a head nod or something, and before you know it, the other person's like, that's kind of Chris Guest in a nutshell. Like, that's every experience I've ever had.
I mean, I don't know him, but I met him once, and I did have the same experience.
Yeah.
And that might just be because he's shy.
I mean,
some people are
absolutely.
just legitimately shy.
Yeah, and that's why I don't take it personally. I just always wish I could be cooler.
Let's not be hypocrites. I'm sure there are people who you've done the head turn to because you didn't want to talk to them.
Yeah, it's never like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person. It's always like, oh, shit, I'm personally, I don't know. It's always like I'm embarrassed of something and don't feel comfortable talking to the person. You know what I mean? Some kind of like insecurity.
Okay, 2 words.
What?
So he's saying that when he's at these parties or whatever, and some people don't pay attention to him, he thinks that it's probably because they know something about him. Something about Seth Green.
Personally, I don't know. It's always like I'm embarrassed of something and don't feel comfortable talking to the person. You know what I mean? Some kind of like insecurity.
Okay, 2 words.
What?
Andy Dick. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying.
Buddy, I was there the night that Marilyn Manson punched Andy Dick in the throat.
Oh, I don't know about this. When and what was it?
I mean, this could be anytime, anywhere. That's the worst part about Andy.
When was it and why?
All right, here's the Andy Dick.
It was, God, where were we? We're at some, is that right? It's 2003?
2003. I could see it now. Ja Rule is on the charts.
Sounds about right. Yeah, so Mac and I were making that movie Party Monster. We were in New York going out quite a bit. And Manson was in the movie too, so we all traded numbers and then eventually all went out one night.
This is when he mentions Macaulay Culkin. Like, they're like hanging out.
And you know Andy, we're like walking down the street to go into this club, and Andy is like putting on a show. And he just screams the second he sees me, Seth, Rick James is dead. And I go, oh, fuck, I didn't know him, Andy. Did you know him? And he's like, kinda. And I was like, hey, man.
Okay, so Rick James had died. So how long ago was that? For So there's that. There's Rob Reiner.
And we're gonna go in the club, and he was like, "Me too." And I was like, "Fuck, we gotta get inside." And then we get inside, and we're like, "See."
Oh, this is when Marilyn Manson hit Andy Dick. So.
And
Another
Mac
Hollywood
is there,
death.
and Manson is next to him, and Andy gets in there, and it's just that Andy comes and sits down, and Manson just makes meaningful eye contact with me, and I just pull my hat down. I was drinking tequila at that time. I just drank this tequila. I was like, this is a great beat. I'm just gonna listen to this. I'm just gonna dance in this vibe. And then I see,
Really?
it's this, and I saw it so clearly. Okay, it's Andy tries to talk to Mac, and then tries to talk to Manson.
I talk to who?
He's Macaulay Culkin. He tries to talk to Mac. He like turns to Mac and he goes,
Macaulay Culkin was there.
Yeah, we just made this movie together, so we're spending a ton of time together. Yeah, he's an adult, 2 kids.
I know.
You know.
I just do that when the poor guy. you know, how many years does it have to be before people stop doing it's like the thing from Scream.
I know, but two things. He's not poor, so you don't have to worry about it. And B, every third quarter, he cleans up, so you don't have to worry. Like, you might as well call him Santa Claus. Yeah, it's Christmas.
Oh, right.
Christmas. That's his month. So here's the point. Andy leans over to Mac, and he goes like this. And Mac just goes like this. Just literally like that. He's saying talking to somebody else.
What was he saying?
Who the fuck knows, man? I was dancing. I couldn't hear anything. And then he goes like this. And he turns to Manson, and he goes... And I swear to you, Manson goes like this. Just hits him right in the fucking throat. And Andy just like sort of takes that hit and just like has a funny...
Do we imagine... Well, Andy was, I think...
2004?
There's that old thing, gay when drunk, or in Andy's case, gay when on crack. Or maybe, I don't know. But... what could Andy have said?
I don't know. He said all kinds of inflammatory shit.
I know, but
like,
to
he was
make
one of the
someone
most provocative people I ever met.
But so personally offended that they hauled off and clocked you in the face.
Yeah, I'd love to say that Manson wasn't quick to punch people.
He was?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know.
Oh, well, if you're like too close to him, he's definitely gonna push you.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not close to him. I mean, I used to see him. He did Politically Incorrect once, and I got amazing press because he was like the biggest star at the time, and very controversial.
Incredibly eloquent.
So whenever I used to see him, first of all, I used to always just say, "Hi, Brian," because he's just a guy with a good Halloween costume. Like, I was always wanted to let him know, I'm not falling for the, you've got a great act, it's great, and even enjoyed a lot of the.
Oh, Seth Rogen knows. Seth Rogen. Oh my God, Seth Rogen. Seth Green knows. He's like, whoa, no, you don't say that about Marilyn Manson. He's like, look at him. He's like, oh. He's like, now, Jamie Kennedy doesn't give me these vibes. Okay. So Seth Green, as much as he looks like Jamie Kennedy,
because he's just a guy with a good Halloween costume. Like, I was always wanted to let him know, I'm not falling for the, you've got a great act, it's great, and even enjoyed a lot of the music. I mean, the Dope Show, and there's some great songs there. But it was just, again, a Halloween costume. I get it. You got a shtick. But hi, Brian.
Yeah. And how did he take that?
Loved it.
Right.
It was a twinkle in his eye and mine.
I think it felt better.
I get it, and I'm not offended.
Right. And coming from you, I think it felt better than when it came from like Courtney Love.
All right, so he can't get adjusted. He can't sit properly. Yeah, yes, exactly, Jen. Yes, I agree. Something a little sinister in Seth. And 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 with that, he's very defensive. He's yeah, he thinks that everyone is thinking and talking about this thing that is weighing on his consciousness. Or weighing on his conscience. Whatever. But he needs a booster seat. He's just like, Bill, why you got these chairs faced like this?
Courtney Love
Courtney
would hit him
Love
with,
did that?
Yeah, Courtney would hit him with that high Brian shit, and I don't think he liked it.
Oh,
I didn't know I was on the same
Look at
beat
him.
as Courtney Love.
I don't think y'all are on the same beat. Have you had her on this show?
No, but I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to Courtney
There's
Love.
a part of me that will always love
Courtney
her.
Love.
Always love her.
You know,
okay, now Courtney Love was just in the news because apparently of the Epstein files, there's something that's going to reopen the case because it looks as if Courtney Love might have had something to do with the death of Kurt Cobain. Allegedly. All this stuff is coming out right now. And Courtney Love was trying to solve the MK Ultra case with Candace Onen, feeding her all this intel. She is Courtney Love is a Haight Ashbury toddler. She was part of the Haight Ashbury Clinic as a toddler and spoke about going to these group sessions and getting MK Ultra. And that she was actually some kind of like I don't know, like drug source for the area, which I feel like Andy Dick is as well, or he was maybe at some point, but they're gonna reopen the case. I blamed her for Kurt. Yep, yeah, exactly. It's like oof, just a little too wild. And now we got Erica Kurt and Charlie Kirk.
Hole has some good music.
Yeah, they put on...
and very commercial. I mean, her image is, really out there. Her records are not the ones I have anyway.
Yeah. I love the Live Through This and what's it called? Hollywood.
But yeah, she's got some good records. I mean, like well produced, just my kind of music. But
she put on the show too. I saw her tour Live Through This, and it was fucking incredible.
So funny, the '90s.
Yeah, right.
Which
what a time! Can you even believe we got to do that? That's so insane.
I mean, you were really young.
Yeah, but I was right in my 20s and in an age like I had already made enough money that I could just like make some
That'd be a good time for it.
No, it was
so hard hustling.
It was idyllic in the sense that it was post-AIDS, not that AIDS went away, but AIDS in the 80s, for the kids who don't know, this is all history to you, people were freaked out.
Well, because you could die from sex in a way that never seemed possible.
I mean, we don't have to get into the politics of how much was, as they would love to, use the word these days, misinformation. But yes, there was absolutely reason to be scared.
Yeah.
But, you know, people were not having sex or wearing 3 condoms or I don't know what
Hey,
they
listen,
were doing.
you know, at least 2 condoms is not a bad idea.
No, it's good to have safe sex. Was also a lot of stuff that was misleading. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Point is that, like, in the 90s, we kind of got over that. Like, it kind of reminded me of when we got over the pandemic. It was like, and then, well, no, let's just go back to, let's just move on.
I think we love panicking,
We
don't
love
you?
panicking,
Yeah.
and then we get enough of it, and we pretend it never happened, like it was just a dream, like it was the shower sequence in Dallas. It's just bullshit. Okay, so we were over AIDS, and terrorism hadn't happened yet here in America.
Not to that extent. I mean,
So
we've had like hijackings and things like that,
but it wasn't 9/11.
There was no mass shootings. It was Columbine.
not 9/11.
Right, 9/11.
And it wasn't.
Well, Columbine came
was
before
99.
9/11. Yeah.
So it was between. Just go with this one.
You gotta give it to me.
don't say X.
Yeah, fuck it. But there's no timeline. Time's a circle.
Just go with this one, darling.
I'm with you, babe.
I'm telling you, the 90s was post-AIDS and pre-terrorism paranoia. So it was like and the issues were like not much. I mean, Clinton, who was a centrist, was president, and the big issue was he got blown.
I know.
Can you believe the way we lost our shit?
If you're a smoker or vapor, ready to make a...
Okay. So this is nice to kind of take a look into some archival footage and see what they're saying about the deceased before they were deceased.
House for the fliplettes, you know, so you're like the favorite,
mistresses?
the other girl. They're like, hey, listen, this king, he probably had like 5, 6 women. 2 of them had houses. 1 of them had a house right next to their house.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
No,
They're just like, you guys are, it's so puritanical. It's shocking, right? Like, what is the beef with that?
That's true. But also, I mean, what I was getting at was that we were so innocent in a way of the kind of existential issues that we have now that we were disposed to obsess about this guy getting blown for 2 years. That this was.
We were. I wasn't. I didn't. But it became the.
Please, it was a national obsession.
Yeah, I remember. And it wholly influenced culture in ways we couldn't even imagine. Like, all of a sudden, everybody's like, I could wear a thong. I could wear a thong. We'll write a whole song about it.
Why? Because she wore a thong.
She wore the thong. And because.
Was that new?
Brand new. Only
Really?
dancers and prostitutes.
See, there's the.
She wore the thong.
Yep, Cappy did say something, and it seems like one of his first major appearances. I mean, I'm sure he's been on some other things too, but you know, now that the Epstein files is out, this is 4 months old, and they even mentioned Rob Reiner, and that's before he passed away, or before he's murdered. But yeah, old Cappy.
And because
was that new?
Brand new.
Really?
Only dancers and prostitutes wore thongs. Pre Monica Lewinsky saying that what got the president to whip his dick out was her having the thong peek out over the.
I wondered. Well, I wonder if Seth was there, because Cappy was kind of quiet and just like kind of going along with, I just did something, and and so it could have been, friend guilt from him, like, how can you say that stuff about me, dude? and then he thought that he was gonna be fine, and then they got him, allegedly.
And immediately it flipped culture. Everybody's like, no shit.
You're right.
No
that was a
shit.
big thing that she kind of baited him.
Flipped culture like it flipped a car.
Thong.
Baited him. My favorite thing is pop culture. Like, I love the way that this shit just ripples through full culture and there's no avoiding it. Like, you think that history is the most critical influence, but history is defined by pop, like the stuff that we really remember, the stuff that really collects an audience. It is as powerful as any theology.
History is really decided by technology. The new technology comes along and we are just always slaves to it.
Are you into that? Do you keep up on?
It's just the truth. I mean, I am not good at technology.
No, I mean, but do you like it? Like, I'm super curious about tech, so I'm always paying attention to stuff.
Super curious about what?
Technology. So I'm
curious about it, but I'm not.
Technology. I'm really interested and curious about tech. Hey, you should talk to this guy that I know, Epstein. You can really hook you up about tech. Him and Ashton Kutcher are tech bros.
I'm always paying attention to stuff.
Super curious about what?
Technology. So I'm always
technology.
Yeah, like I'm super curious about tech, so I'm always paying attention to stuff.
Super curious about what?
Technology. So I'm
curious about it, but I'm not native to it, and so I'm poor at it. I keep up enough to not be completely out of it, but you know, the way a 13-year-old is today, how they grow up, this new generation. I mean, or even Gen Z, even millennials. You know, people who grew up with computers. I did not.
Me too, man. We're that generation, and so I guess I'm just a little behind you. But
you're Gen X.
Still,
I'm Boomer.
It's funny.
But your generation is the last sane generation. Then it went right off the end of the cliff.
Well, we were the legit, like, good luck.
Right. You were the last generation that the parents allowed to have a free-range childhood.
Yes.
Did you have a free-range
Oh,
childhood?
man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My parents, I mean, I grew up in Philadelphia and New York. I lived in New York anytime I was working, which was, you know.
How dare you make me reminisce about my childhood, Seth Green? Shit. Be Jumanji up in here. Having Seth Green make me reminisce of the days when things were far less complicated socially, but physically they were. And it was easier, but more difficult at the same time. And now things are more easier, but more difficult on us.
The time I was 7 to the time I was 16 and moved to Los Angeles, which was 91. But in that time, growing up in Philadelphia and all around New York, it was like, good luck. Here's your key. Don't forget your phone number.
When you talk, I'm wondering if you like grew up around.
I think that over time I've gotten very lazy about policing what could be somewhere between a Delaware and a New York accent.
Delaware?
Yeah.
How did that get in the picture?
Because it's the Philadelphia accent, what is like South and West and North and East Philly. It sounds like the most
But did you grow up
disgusting.
right in the city?
I grew up in West Philly.
Where's that?
It's the same place that Will Smith was born and raised.
Is it nice? Is it looks like a suburb?
It's like lower middle class.
Lower middle class.
Yeah.
So like,
My neighborhoods were all black and Italian.
So that was actually pretty funny, okay? And Seth Green does have that kind of the ironic humor that he deadpans ironic humor all the time. That's him hanging out with Macaulay Culkin all the time.
The most
But did you
guttural,
grow up right
disgusting.
in the city?
I grew up in Westerly.
Where's that?
It's the same place that Will Smith was born and raised.
Is it nice? Is it it's like a suburb? Is
It's
it
like lower middle class.
lower middle class?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah. My neighborhoods were all black and Italian. My school was all black and Italian.
See,
Yeah.
Born and raised.
it's all right. We're not.
You got me high. I'm supposed to follow these questions?
I got you high. Yeah, I really foisted it upon you. What do you think of the pot?
This is great.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's mellow, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you grew up in this, I would say we probably had very similar backgrounds, although I grew up in an all-white town, but I would say it was middle to lower middle class.
See, Bill Maher was far more relaxed. He wasn't lost in the sauce. Smoking a little bit and drinking. Now he's doing edibles and drinking tequila and slurring his words and saying all sorts of crazy things to his guests that they're like, whoa, wait, no, we ain't gay. No. He's like, what did I say? You're like, no, you said we're here and we're queer. We're not. But Green kind of plays along.
I mean, when I went back to the house like a few years ago, whoa. First of all, they completely remodeled it. It's unrecognizable.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because it was so tiny.
Yeah.
People were happier back
Like
then,
Seth.
but they had tinier houses. They had tinier everything. They were not crazy, made crazy because they were mind raped by the internet.
Don't you remember watching Cribs in the mid-90s? Yeah, the MTV show Cribs.
Of course.
So when I watched that show, I was like, oh, this is the underculture. Like, we're watching this. We might as well be watching Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And MTV was popularizing this. And I thought it was camp at first, but then I realized, like, I knew people that were like, I'm getting a Shark Tank in my house. And I was like,
I
what the fuck are
loved
you
it
talking
because
about?
it gave me permission to say to people, okay, now get the fuck out of my house.
Right.
Because that's the way every episode ended.
I know, right? I
As
knew a
recall.
couple that was on that show, and then like the next week after the show aired, they got robbed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they know.
Because everyone was like,
funny.
oh shit, I see these multiple points of entry. It looks like they've got a really failing security system. That's where the safes are? Okay.
That's awesome.
So fucking insanely stupid.
And Punk'd, remember that was like
Yeah, I was on like the second episode ever of Punk.
Oh,
so before
really?
the
They
concept
punked
was
you?
even, yes.
That's a badge of
Well, maybe it was the film crew. And they like, yeah, hey man, yeah. And then they go and hit it a couple days later with their cousins.
honor.
Yeah.
They never punked me.
Well, I was really lucky that
Fuck you,
it was
Ashton
a thing
Kutcher.
that I couldn't look. I was lucky that it wasn't a thing that made me look too stupid.
What was it? What was the punk?
They invited me to what
Seth
was supposed to
wearing
be like a
lifts.
charity gambling night at
Right.
the like Sunset Tower, and it was after a taping of the '70s show. And so we, like, all those kids and I knew each other, and we would have a habit. They'd tape on Friday, and then we would all
that
go out
70s
together
show.
to one of these clubs. And you roll into a place with like 15 or 20 people, and you get to take over a section, and you're not concerned about anybody getting in or making you feel unsafe or any of it really being dangerous. So it was a very cool vibe. If you just like to dance and drink, and we all had like cars that were there, so nobody was driving or anything. Anyway, so they were like, hey, instead of that, after the show tonight, we're going to do this charity gambling thing. And I was like, okay. And so we get to this place, and I had just been in the place before for a table reading. So immediately I noticed that this room had been recently renovated. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I don't know. How much of the story do you want? It's real simple. They tried to.
Well, as you can see, we have to go to commercial.
No,
No, isn't it great that we don't?
Isn't that
Or we
fun?
have to like a zero. Do I ever think about this? Because like I was saying at the beginning, I wanted to finally do a show that was exactly what my life is like.
It's so fucking
zero
random.
difference between if you just came over.
So
if
random.
you just came over, would I have a series of questions? I see these podcasts, and they're just like talk shows used
Start
to
yelling
be.
again.
They have cards, they have microphones. Okay, I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying this is different.
Uh-oh.
I love that.
I love it too.
You got to put your spin on it.
But what were you saying? Because I was very
When they
intrigued.
punked me.
What was the punk?
The whole punk
So you're at a
was-
charity thing?
Yeah, but they took me out. So the guy was like, yo, man, can I talk to you? And this guy looked really familiar, and I realized later it looked familiar because he was on 106 in Park. I was like, oh, this guy, I didn't even know. And then, but he takes me outside.
Sir, I mean, I can't handle that. You're just not gonna have the lighter there the whole time.
And this guy looked really familiar, and I realized later it
Do
looked
that.
familiar because he was on 106.
You know, he loves that. Even his hair is looking like a flame. A flame as it rises from a freshly burnt down house. He's like, look at those eyebrows, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where were you during the old Malibu fires there? He's like, oh, they found out about all my escapades and how I'm in the Epstein list. Okay. Allegedly. Quit being mad at people because you're short, dude. You're going crazy. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You think I'm short? Oh, yeah. What about this? Like, that's his energy the whole time. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll just drop.
Park. I was like, oh, this guy, I didn't even know. And then, but he takes me outside, and there's like nobody in this party. I'm like, this is not a party, guys. The lights are so bright.
Right.
I'm like, there's no fucking music. Like, what is this? And I'm looking at all these doors. I'm trying to find an outlet. I'm gonna like plug in my speaker. I was like, y'all are not gonna raise any money. This party sucks. And so then the guy,
He's gonna plug in his speaker for the
guy,
party.
like takes me outside, and he says, "Hey man, I gotta let you know, I'm a cop." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I know a lot of cops." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm undercover. We're about to bust up this game." And I was like, "Oh, weird. I thought this was a charity game. What do you mean you busted?" And he goes, "This is an illegal game, and I think you know who's running it." I was like, "Who?" And he said, "We know that you know." And I go, "I don't know what you're talking about. My friend said that this was a charity game. Are you saying there's something going on? Is this like an illegal charity? What are you
Oh my
talking
God,
about?"
put the lighter
And
down.
he's like, "You got to tell me whose game this is." And I was like, well, these are the people that invited me, but I don't think they organized
What
it.
were the punksters expecting you to do that would it be so embarrassing? Like suddenly
If I
roll
was like,
over?
"It's Ashton Kutcher's game. Ashton Kutcher."
Oh, and the old birdie sings. The old birdie sings. All right. So right there, he is saying that Ashton Kutcher is the old ringleader.
so embarrassing. Like suddenly
If I
roll
was like,
over.
it's Ashton Kutcher's game. Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher invite. Ashton Kutcher invited me. Yeah, it gets so silly too, because there's a moment where like I go back and he's like, hey, the cops are gonna come in here in about 45 minutes, so you gotta get the fuck out of here. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go back on the table and I'm like, hey, Kutch, we probably gonna get the fuck out of here. Like maybe you get your money off the table. Like maybe we get out of here. And he's like, what are you talking about? We're staying, we're doing this thing. And then some motherfucker somersaults through the window, and all of a sudden the doors explode and there's people, and they're like, everybody on the ground, kind of shit. And this is how many times I've been in handcuffs. I immediately
Did he spit on Bill Maher? Look at it. Oh man, look at it. That's a look of like right before like so let's see if Seth Green spit on Bill Maher.
because there's a moment where like I go back and he's like, hey, the cops are gonna come in here in about 45 minutes, so you gotta get the fuck out of here. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go back on the table and I'm like, hey, Kutch, we probably gonna get the fuck out of here. Like maybe you get your money off the table. Like maybe we get out of here. And he's like, what are you talking about? We're staying, we're doing this thing. And then some motherfucker somersaults through the window, and all of a sudden the doors explode and there's people, and they're like, everybody on the ground, kind of shit. And this is how many times I've been in handcuffs. I immediately look around and I'm like, well, none of these guys have guns, so this is obviously intended like a peaceful takedown. This isn't. I don't think anybody's gonna get hurt tonight. So then everybody's
well,
like,
that's your white privilege talking, Seth. I'm out of here.
yeah, none of them had guns. There's nothing to talk about. None of them even had tasers. They didn't have utility belts. I'm like, well, whatever this is different than like cops. So, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So then they're blah 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 about like whoever knows whatever, and like I make eye contact with Kutcher because they're like, everybody on the ground, get on the ground.
So Bill Maher is completely stoned. He is laughing at every little thing that comes to his mind. Seth Green is deep into his inner thoughts and trying to paint a picture.
On the ground, and I make eye contact with Kutcher. And I'm just like, don't say anything. Don't say shit. There's nothing to say.
I love blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the blah, blah, blah. Because that's what they were like, blah, 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 blah.
And then what
Illegal,
happened?
whatever. Well, then the same guy made me stand up, and he was like, why don't you tell everybody what I
So
saw?
really, you punked them because they didn't get you to look stupid. And when that happens, I feel like that show should have then had this mea culpa, like, okay, the contestant who we played this game with, they won the game because they didn't do something stupid. Because I've seen them do stupid things.
Sure.
I've seen the ones where it's like, don't you know who I am?
Oh my God,
Ooh, you look bad
I
doing
know, I've
that.
seen so many people-
Don't do the you don't know
Look
who
at
I
it.
am.
Of
Because
course
we
not.
just caught you being the
like,
asshole
yeah,
that you
yeah, of course
pretend
not.
you're not in public.
They didn't want, they punked, it was
the
being
ad
so,
where it's like, don't you know who I am?
oh my God.
Ooh,
Look at that.
ooh, you look bad
I
doing
know, I've
that.
seen so many.
It's like, oh yeah, you just got this new house in Malibu. Oh yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, shoot, yeah. Well, you shouldn't have reported about what I'm into. And I didn't report it. That's what Isaac Cappy did.
Don't
people-
do the you don't know who I am
Of
because
course
we
not.
just caught you being the asshole that you pretend you're not in public.
They didn't want, they punked, it was like Penelope Cruz
Oh,
and
I've-
maybe Salma Hayek, where there's a giant shit in the bathroom, and one of them is like asked to take credit.
Oh, Bill Maher tried it. And Seth Green just laughed at him. He went, "Pfft." Here we are. So now Bill Maher is going to attempt to cook it like Seth Green does.
In public.
They punked, it was like Penelope Cruz
Oh,
and maybe Salma Hayek, where there's a giant shit in the bathroom, and one of them is like asked to take credit for it. And they're like, which one of you shit in the bathroom? And I'm like, this is
they did that.
That was him laughing
yeah,
at.
Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek. Can you imagine?
And Salma Hayek? Sorry. She's connected with that. Who's her husband? The Gucci guy? There's that movie about Gucci. I think it's about child trafficking. I think there's something like that involved.
They did that to Penelope Cruz?
Yeah, Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek. Can you imagine that?
But wait, so the Selma Hayek punk was that there was a giant
Damn, I love
duty?
you trying to keep this on track. Yeah, they went out to a public restaurant and she was like, I gotta go
And
to
she was supposed to like throw a fit about that?
She was supposed to.
I gotta tell you, I would throw a shit about that. I would.
I think she was supposed to find the shit and then like they come out and they're like, hey, listen, you clogged the toilet. And then she's like, no, I didn't.
Oh, accuse her of it.
Accuse her of it.
Because
Hey,
if anyone
Salma
looks
Hayek.
like they take massive shits, it's
Right.
Penelope Cruz.
Marshawn Lynch.
No,
Marshawn Lynch taking shit in the studio bathroom. Bill Maher's Club Random studio bathroom. Right before the interview.
I think it was Salma Hayek. But
Yeah.
similar figures. The
Oh,
two
so
of them.
you
Beast
just
mode.
said Selma Hayek, Penelope Cruz, Latino ladies, they're all the same.
No, absolutely
It
not.
just
I
looks
did say
bad.
they have a similar figure.
They do, and there's nothing wrong with that. And by the way, I think we're past that era. That was the peak woke era.
It is
where
funny,
you
right?
could,
Like how fucking delicate it got. It was almost Red Scare kind of era.
And now, of course, we have because nothing ever happens in the middle in this country, we have the pendulum swinging all the way to the other side.
It's scary, like the second they start talking about like the hate speech not being protected under the First Amendment.
But peak woke was, how dare you mix up with Selma Hayek with Penelope Cruz? And
Well, you were getting,
sanity
like-
is just, I'm sorry, I get stars mixed up sometimes. It's not a hate crime. Nobody died, and nobody hates Latinos. He's not in the Klan because he got two actors mixed up.
I know I was at a party and saw Seth Rogen there, and we were standing next to each other talking for a
Seth
minute,
Rogen.
and two different people came up and almost glitched at the idea of us being together.
Why?
Because we're both named Seth.
Oh.
And they don't have room in their brain for more than one Seth.
No, that's what I just did. I called him Seth Rogen. It's like, wait, it's Seth Rogen, but Seth Green. But then there's a Joe Rogan, and he's the same height as Seth Green. So it's like Seth Rogen, but there actually is a Seth Rogen.
Named Seth.
It's just Seth.
At the idea of us being together.
Why?
Because we're both named Seth.
Oh.
And they don't have room in their brain for more than one Seth.
Yeah, I hate people like that. Now, when you were
I've
on Married with
never
Children-
heard. I've never had a friend named Seth. That's a CIA name. He's a CIA plant. Seth CIA plant name. That's a plant name.
What was the
You know what's so funny?
What
I
was
got
the
to-
cast like?
I
What
got
was
to
Ed
do-
O'Neill, great to work with.
So great. Ed is like a dad to me. Like he still calls me every once in a while, just be like, hey, you getting those residuals?
And Christina Applegate, National Treasure. You know, I was a guest star on that show.
You were?
Yes, in my.
Were you talking about Married with Children? Or?
Yes.
Her other show, the CBS shows.
Married with Children. I mean, in my
what did you do? What were you seeing? Oh my God, what did you play?
In my wandering years, you know, I came out here in the early '80s, comic, and in those days we all wanted to get on a sitcom, and I did, and I got on a few of them, and then it was like that was going down, but I was still like, you know, somebody who they were interested in putting in a show.
Does Bill Maher think that Seth Green was in Married with Children? Like he was Christina Applegate's brother?
Maybe. So I would do guest spots. I did Roseanne, and I did Married with Children.
Amazing.
And she could not have been nicer. As far as like,
ooh, Applegate?
Yes.
She's the fucking
as far
greatest.
as like inviting someone into the like sort of inner circle of the cast, which is, you know, we've all been on shows. It gets very cliquey.
Yeah.
But making someone who was a guest star feel like, oh, you're part of the family this week too. I will never forget that. And I think we all do. We remember the people who treated us like that, and we remember the people who don't.
You're right. I always try to be the former. I had enough really positive experiences, especially as a kid, to take. I wouldn't say responsibility, but I have sympathy for, and I have empathy for anybody who's like going through this. My whole career was.
He's like, empathy. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. I have that thing that people talk about, whatever that thing is. I could care less what they think, but that thing that they say, that's the thing that I have too. Okay, Seth Green. Seth Green's empathetic. Apparently, he's an E-pass or an empass.
Find in guest spots and like day player parts. You know what I'm saying? Like just trying to find a way to make somebody notice me. But as a result, I worked on all of the shows. So I got to know everybody from a very young age and see how people do it well or do it poorly.
And you got into the slipstream that was like the right one to get into, which is like comic book stuff.
Isn't that funny? Well, all of the shit that nobody wanted to talk about pre-2007.
Which now rules showbiz.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's the funny thing. I have to remind all of my nerdy friends that like we won, everybody chill out.
Good for their college funds.
It's not bad. My child will be able to love Fantastic Four without ever worrying about being beaten with her own metal Fantastic Four lunchbox.
Yeah, there's good money in that, right?
It ain't bad. Well, with anything, man, you get anything that hits, like the margins are so much bigger now than they ever were before. It makes it a little bit harder for the independents, but it just means that you got to find the little money for little things in other places.
Those comic book people went after me once really hard because I said something about when Stan Lee died.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't making fun of Stan Lee. I wasn't happy Stan Lee died. I was sorry that comic book fans lived. No, I enjoy. I was just saying, like, these people who think that comic books are great literature. I mean, I heard from the Stan Lee Society who said, like, Bill Maher, you're a terrible person. You think comic books are immature. They said the same thing about Dostoevsky and Melville and Shakespeare. No, they didn't. Nobody ever said that. If you read a book without pictures, you'd know that to be true. Nobody ever said that. So, you know, you could enjoy an everlasting childhood. I mean, everybody does what they want. It's a free country. But just don't tell me that this is the same thing as literature, because it's not. Because the plots are not resolved the same way. The Godfather is a great movie because of the way the plot is resolved. Comic book movies, the plot is resolved because somebody shoots rays through their fingers. That's fine, but that's not for adults. You know, I want material for adults. It's just me. Yeah. You can enjoy that, but, you know, don't get on my case if I call you out on it.
Yeah, I don't agree with the getting on each other's cases about your likes or dislikes. The great thing about living in this country, at least for the moment, is you still have this freedom. Yeah, for the moment, we'll see.
No, it's true.
We still have this freedom of expression.
Yeah.
You know, we still have these.
We got scissors, we got lighters, just these hand fidgeters. Constantly gotta. I mean, the the amount of fuel that he's used and burned up just to light ash. That's just lighting the burnt ash that doesn't light. So you spend all that time trying to burn the paper. He's like, this is, I am at home with this. He's increasing his, yeah, he's increasing his carbon footprint. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Imagine to be inalienable rights, like when our forefathers escaped, left what they felt was the tyranny of the king, and decided to forge this new union without any of the dumb shit that they felt they'd endured under the king. And here we are. You know, it's almost 300 years.
And there he is. It was only a matter of time. All right, look at that. This is the second time now that Bill Maher is attempting to do what Seth Green has been doing the whole time, and that is by cooking it.
Yeah.
The king, and decided.
So this is after he had just spent 5 minutes toasting his joint, and he doesn't even take a puff at it. Puff on it. He just let it cook out. Now watch Bill Maher.
To forge this new union without any of the dumb shit that they felt.
And look at that. And there he is. Cooking it. Now, you would think that Seth Green would be like, gotcha. You know, where he's becoming aware of his hypnosis, the way that he can hypnotize people and get them to do the things that he was doing. But it is literally just the flame. It brings him right back to those moments, to that night where you wanted to see the whole thing burn. But old Bill Maher is going to test it out. He's like, well, yeah, I guess I'll just test it out. Yeah.
It endured under the king. And here we are. You know, it's almost.
And there he is. Okay, every other time he had it up against his lip and was dragging from it. And now he is doing what Seth Green has been doing this whole time, and now he's cooking it. Yeah, he's remembering the night he was telling Cappy about the chicken. Yep. About the hidden room.
And without any of the dumb shit that they felt they'd endured under the king. And here we are. You know, it's almost 300 years later. You could also argue they'd endured under the king. And here we are. You know, it's almost 300 years later. You could
Is this like some kind of Illuminati? Like where they have all the people.
also argue that, like, which empire lived more than 300 years? Like, most of these empires go through some kind of very significant change. I just didn't expect ours to be like this kind of apathetic resignation into autocracy. Like, that just seems so silly. Everybody's like, oh, well, I guess we'll just never have elections again. I'm like, what? Guys, you forget the power of the people. Like, the fucking power of the people, guys. That's it. Even if they say you can't vote, you could still... I couldn't have
Sit still, Seth.
expected a guy like this guy.
Look at it. He is sitting up, sitting down, turning around, sitting back, leaning back, holding up his arm, turning down.
That's it. Even if they say you can't vote, you could still... I couldn't have expected a guy like this guy to be the guy. And I think, you know, we both knew this guy. Like, I had never met him, but I know this guy. This guy, the guy that's in the office. Is this
Trump?
Yeah,
that's
Trump.
just a sparkling water.
This is just sparkling water. I swear they said, I think it's this. It's this one, right? Somebody...
Whoa, this guy. He's like, who are you talking about? He was like, all of a sudden started talking about Isaac Cappy and didn't realize it.
Even if they say you can't vote, you could still... I couldn't have expected a guy like this guy to be the guy. And I think, you know, we both knew this guy. Like, I had never met him, but I know this guy. This guy, the guy that's in the office. Is this...
Oh, he's talking about Trump.
Trump?
Yeah,
that's
Trump.
just a sparkling water.
This is just sparkling water. I swear they said, I think it's this. It's this one, right? Somebody say something off camera.
What is that?
I'm going to refill
What do
this
you
drink.
want?
I've got another drink.
Oh, that's yours. That's
this is mine.
yours. Yeah.
All right.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Moscow Mule. I stayed on vodka. I find it mixes really well with the weed.
Yeah, you don't have to apologize for it.
Yeah, it's like, what? You don't... I don't care about your drink thing. He's like, I gotta... Because it blends well with... It's a good pairing with a sativa. It's like, shut up and just drink your drink. I mean, if Bill Maher's calling you a fairy, you know... yeah. Welcome back, Wizard. Oh, we got a good one.
No, I was just telling you.
I'm just... you have to give me a reason to drink.
John, welcome back too.
You're at Club Random, dude.
That's not what this show is.
You does seem very amped up.
I'm talking about...
Jesus Christ. You could be doing heroin here. You think I would give a...
It's not really
If
my
that's your
move.
thing?
I mean, wouldn't that be crazy?
You know what the most romantic thing a girl ever said to me?
Let's hear it.
I once said to the girlfriend, what would you do if I started taking heroin? And she said, start taking heroin. I mean, I thought she was going to say, I'd get you help.
Right.
We'd get the best people in the world.
I'm really good at needlework.
And, I mean, it's wrong, but it's also like the most romantic thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is very sweet. Don't you remember that rock bit? Chris Rock had that bit where he talked about, it dovetailed into the whole thing about Clinton getting blowjobs and making the comment that men are only as faithful as their options, which I thought was an
I
incredible
was the first one to say that. That was my
I'm
joke.
not here to debate that, but he
Men are as loyal as their options.
Yeah, he
Trust
said
me.
that, but the joke that he made that I thought was so funny, he's like, listen, man, if you smoke crack, your wife has to smoke crack. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. You gotta have the same hobbies, which I thought was a very funny comment, pretty accurate.
I know I said that first. You know why? Because I remember who said it.
And does him and his wife smoke crack?
Very funny comment, pretty accurate.
I know I said that first. You know why? Because I remember who said it to me, who I stole it from.
Who's that?
I'm not going to say the name, but I was living in New York from 1979 to 1982, and I was dating, of course, a waitress in 1982.
Remind me to tell you something about that.
In 2 seconds, I will.
Yeah, give it to me.
And she said that to me, those exact words. Men are only as loyal as their options. I remembered it. I stole it. I used it. What is your story? Waitress. Go.
So Mac's mom, Mac's mom at one point.
Who's Mac's mom?
Macaulay Culkin's mother.
Oh, Mac.
Yeah, at one point.
Is he still like your fucking bro from another
Yeah,
mo?
we're really close. We're good friends.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah, I love that boy.
And how's he doing?
He's fucking great.
Really?
Love that boy.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's
it's so
great.
wrong.
Oh my God, he
it's
did.
So
Well,
wrong.
he's done like a little bit of acting. Like I forced him out of retirement to make this movie in Thailand.
Where is his mind at?
His mind is clear and great. He's got
he doesn't
2
care.
fucking kids.
He doesn't care that the rocket that went up when he was a child didn't stay up.
I don't know if you understand. Like his dad was not a great dad, but his dad made sure that Mac has money. Mac never had a drug problem. Mac never had a gambling problem. Mac still has all that money. And there are so many different points of income for him annually, and he's only introducing new ones. So I gotta tell you, he is of sound mind and body and like not even getting started. Like he did a bunch of acting stuff. I pulled him out of retirement to do this movie in Thailand. And then he was like, oh, I think I like acting. Wound up, it's the best. And people were like, you want to do some acting? He did a Vanity Fair cover, got a star on Hollywood Boulevard. Showed up in Righteous Gemstones.
Can you make him come here?
Can I make him come here?
Can I talk to him?
I bet he would chat with you as long as you don't want to talk about Michael.
I don't.
Yeah.
Do I look like I
don't
have
think
an
you
agenda?
do. No, he loves comics too.
But I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, he'd love to. I bet he'd be down to talk to you too.
I bet you'd be good for him too, because people just have no idea who he is. It's like.
Oh man. I mean, I can appreciate how quickly Seth can see how crazy some of the things that are being said are, but no, it's actually pretty entertaining. It's entertaining. But Macaulay Culkin, okay. So as long as you don't talk about Michael Jackson, he'll talk to you. He's like, he said Michael Jackson in front of me. He's white knighting for Macaulay, Mac. Like, add the Oli. It's like the best part. Just Mac, Macaulay. So he's white knighting for Macaulay, saying that you maybe talk to him as long as you don't talk about Michael Jackson. He wants to do some shows.
And look, I understand what you're saying about his father not being a good father. Of course he's not a good father. Yeah. That kid had to booby-trap the house himself. Okay, I'm not going to do any. I'm not going to do any of that.
No, he loves all that shit. But he
does?
Yeah,
okay,
he's buddies
we'll get along.
Yeah.
It'll be so much fun.
He loves comics. He's buddies with Jeff Ross. He was buddies with Saget.
Tell him to come here. Guys. I'll treat him so.
Oh, Saget, another one. So. Seth Green has mentioned a few people who are now deceased. Saget was deceased before then.
Good. This is not a gotcha show.
It doesn't feel like it.
It's not.
Although they're getting drunk, like this could easily be Cosby's basement.
Everybody leaves here. The only thing they all have in common is they want to stay longer.
Yeah. But we only got 90 minutes, man.
Well, we have whatever we want. That's
Oh,
why
really? How do
we're
you cut this show? Do you like cut
We
it?
don't cut it.
You just let it run.
Cut
So
it.
if it's like 2
The
hours.
only way we cut it is if the guest complains, because we want to be guest
Right,
friendly.
we shouldn't have been
but
talking
like,
about.
I don't cut anything. They, but
We shouldn't
there's
talk
nothing to
about
cut.
Goebbels being a great name for your gerbil.
Yeah, Goebbels.
This is Goebbels the gerbil.
It is a great name, though.
It's not bad, right?
A terrible person and really rotten guest.
Yeah, I bet he's just a real bummer. Doesn't have any good stories.
But what about Mac?
Oh, this is the best story. So I said to Mac's mom, yeah, I got a crush on this waitress at this bar. And she goes, of course, you're going to have a crush on the waitress because she's serving you. And I was like, that's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, we've all had waitresses that were serving us and we didn't also want to date.
Plenty. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mostly the guys.
Yeah. No, it's definitely selective in the people that I would give. This, and you probably had the same kind of thing. Like there was a point in the 90s where I realized that I couldn't predict anyone's purpose in talking to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So now he's like, yeah, it's hard to know people's intentions. And he's like, oh, God, here we go.
I was like, well, I'm very recognizable at this point,
Yeah.
to the point where I can't underestimate the reach of that and whether someone would be pursuing me. I had people pursue, but even before cell phone cameras and social media, I had a lot of people try to take advantage of me or trick me or like rob me, all kinds of crazy shit.
But you get pretty savvy about sussing them out.
Yeah,
early,
I grew up in Philadelphia and New York. Like I got
from the streets.
I got to make my first movie when I was 8 years old with a lot of very
Wizards,
successful people. Who
No, but I'm saying, so the people who weren't sincere, who were trying to get in your drawers,
yes,
you kind of get.
So Wizard's saying, why does he have that weird accent? Okay, and that's exactly it. That's why we are watching this. I had mentioned several episodes ago about this Seth Green and Bill Maher episode, and how Seth Green had this weird way of speaking. And that's what we're trying to figure out. John says, my neighbor was Michael Jackson's personal chef for a year and a half in the 1980s. He lived at Neverland and traveled all around the world with him. He was a chef for many big celebs and wealthy people. Whoa, man. Fixing up some of that fried chicken. Shit. I mean, Michael Jackson was a fine-tuned machine. He's an athlete, performer. But definitely around children.
Whether it's man for his things, business stuff, or a woman, you kind of, you can do it in a sentence or two.
It's true. I got very street smart from all of that, and I think that's why. Because here's the thing: I knew a lot of kids that died. I know a lot of kids that got molested. I know.
Okay. Oh. So he knows a lot of kids who died and got molested. I've never heard anyone else say that in that seat.
A lot of kids that got into all kinds of shit that never happened to me.
And he's saying kids.
And I had this moment when I was, in my 20s, when all these kids start kind of coming out and talking about it. And I was like, oh my God, I stayed at that guy's house for a month.
Nobody ever tried to molest you?
No, and I had
kind of insulting, isn't it?
Well, I had that moment
to you. I mean,
of
it's
like, what the fuck? Am I just like so unfuckable? Like,
Well, I mean, that is the conclusion one would have to draw.
yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I gotta work harder for this. I just started
Yes.
doing crunches like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Squats
Oh, I
all
do.
day long. Like just trying to put it out there. Making breakfast with no shirt on.
Maybe a thong.
Yeah, it was
Can
getting
guys
popular.
wear thongs?
Always. Go to Europe.
But I feel like in the 90s era, early 2000s, I think that's like when our time overlapped.
Yeah.
As guys who were out a lot.
Yeah, right. I
there
saw you out.
I saw you
I think I
out.
was more monogamous.
I
for
saw you out.
longer
And
periods
you know
of
what I
time.
did when I saw you out? I just kind of...
I was like, oh shit.
We did it to each other.
No, I liked it
Yeah.
because you're smart and you're not crazy and you're like there's something about comics I think where you inherently love the audience as much as you find reason to resent them. Like you kind of can't help it. It's what I love about guys like Robin. And you just sort of
I resent my chat. I resent you. How dare you have everything that I want, and yet be within arm reach. I resent how you can just speak whenever you want.
need, life is fucking terrible. And you just sort of want to make people smile sometimes, even if it's like feeling not alone. I think that's the thing that comics really share. And I've always related to that.
But somehow we wound up both being the kind of guy who, per the old phrase, would go to the opening of an envelope.
I went to a bunch of things.
I
did go to parties. Yeah, because it was like,
because it was fun.
Well, it's also, like I said, it's a little bit like your winter formal or your social at your school, right? These are our peers, and you sort of just.
Okay, so again, another prom reference, another kid social. These are high school references, and then he said that these are his peers.
Formal or your social at your school, right? These are our peers, and you sort of just have to.
But like I remember, I mean, you were younger when it happened to you.
Yeah.
I was older, so it was like I remember the normal life when you would just go to Dingleberries on Friday night, and hope to get lucky.
Right.
And now
Dingleberries.
Dingleberries.
You go to residuals.
Oh yeah, residuals, and then there was a great disco, Enema. Oh, it was fantastic. 3 levels. The top was hip hop, then it was 80s. But okay, so I was like, okay, but now I'm invited to this thing which is like red carpet.
I know.
And maybe it's a shitty fucking horror movie, but I'm invited.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And there was a period.
I went to the MTV Awards a bunch because it's crazy. You go to the MTV, you like meet Busta Rhymes.
He's connected with Ashton Kutcher and the 70s show. He's probably connected with the guy who went to prison for all the graping.
I got to meet CeeLo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was fun for me. I get to see all these crazy things. I get to see
things
Prince
that are
perform.
on a much lower level than the MTV Awards. That's at least an award show. I'm talking about movie premieres and just parties.
It had to be somebody I knew. It had to be somewhere I felt safe. We started going out. That club thing really worked, and it was a couple of years that we did it just because it was safe. You'd go to a spot. There's this place on La Brea called AD that was really chill, and it was just we'd roll in there a bunch of, I think I was the oldest at 29.
Okay. So he just said he was the oldest when he was 29. It's his words. No, I'm not. Let's just take that back.
I think I was the oldest at 29.
Are you talking about the 90s? Is this the 90s?
It was the end of the 90s, the early 2000s.
I feel like that was my era to be out a lot. And I feel like
I was just in tighter spaces, I think. My focus was on like
Tighter space? Okay.
dancing and not getting photographed.
But what about, but you were obviously not married. You were obviously out there.
Oh, and I was definitely meeting people.
Right. And Bill Maher's like, well, then what's the problem? Why are you acting as if you're trying to hide from something, and you need to be in these safe places because you don't know if, he's always looking for the safe places and the people that he can trust. And it's like, why? Yeah, yeah, John, exactly. Danny Masterson. Yep. They're all connected, huh?
I feel like
I was just in tighter spaces, I think. My focus was on like dancing and not getting photographed.
But what about, but you were obviously not married. You were obviously out there.
Oh, and I was definitely meeting people.
Yeah. Who? How old?
You were single and ready to mingle.
Yeah. Well, I also, you just like you, I got invited to like the Playboy parties. I got invited to like the Perfect 10 parties. And all of a sudden you're in a position where a girl who looks like a photograph is like, I'd fuck you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, there are plenty of instances where we both got a story to tell for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we both got, because I seen you at the parties, and we both got a story. He's like, mm-hmm.
In a position where a girl who looks like a photograph is like, I'd fuck you.
Yeah, photograph, like a CP. Like a lot of things can be a photograph.
I got invited to like the Perfect 10 parties, and all of a sudden you're in a position where a girl who looks like a photograph is like, I'd fuck you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, there are plenty of instances where we both got a story to tell for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like trying to do the Jedi trick. We both have stories to tell, don't we, Bill? You will give me a cheese pizza.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. Girl, not a woman.
And
yeah, as like a short Jewish kid with red hair named Seth that grew up in West Philadelphia and got constantly his ass kicked with his own like pop culture accessories. It was really cool to have girls say, I'd fuck you.
And I mean, what is the lesson
trying
there?
to be a victim.
Life evens out, right? I mean, like,
I don't know why. I think for me, the lesson was, man, you're.
So he's convincing little girls because he's little, and then they're like, all right, fine, fine.
Say, I'd fuck you. Really cool to have girls say, I'd fuck you.
And I mean, what is the lesson there? That life evens out, right? I mean, like,
I don't know why. I think for me, the lesson was, man, you gotta have a really good personality because you're not gonna pull this off on first glance.
Well, fame.
But even before that, I think the reasons that I got famous is because I pushed my personality so hard. Yeah.
Your fame, your personality comes through in the roles you play, right? But I mean, let's not gild the lily too much. I mean, it's also just fame. It's also just that.
Oh, there's plenty. That's my, Warhol's my favorite because Warhol was the one who really talked about the power of the camera. Talked about like the audience's obsession with self. Talked about the audience's inevitable individual 15 minutes of fame.
I mean, that is the most prescient thing anybody ever said, because when you see that everybody has a podcast,
yes,
everything is so fractured.
When was the last time you read 1984? I read it in 16. I read it in 16 when Trump was running. And it was the thing that Orwell never presumed was something like the internet. There was no way to imagine social media. And so it all took the form of the telescreen, which could always be on, which could always be recording. But the main thing was getting down to thought crime, like a real separation of the classes and the cultures, and the point where you thinking something is an arrestable offense. And then they go and put you in the clockwork.
But that's a hate crime.
Well, this is it, right? We're edging that territory.
Well, not edging. It's been decades since we said we believe in this country that there is such a thing as a hate crime. Now, that's basic liberal dogma. I consider myself a liberal, but I never agreed with that. A hate crime is a thought crime.
Being more punishable than something else.
It's a thought crime. And I don't think we should go down that slope. It's a crime is a crime. If you kill somebody, you should be punished for it. The law should not be involved in what is in your mind, your fucking fucked up mind. I don't really give a shit.
I hadn't really thought about it that way, but that's a fair point.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, darling. Our anniversary is going to be so much better.
Do you like cake?
All right. Well, listen, I really enjoyed you.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you, man.
I
had this realization this is the longest conversation we've ever had.
Oh, by far.
Like one-on-one.
Well, because
I always see you in green rooms.
Yeah, because when we were out and saw each other before, we gave each other the look and then went after the hottest girl.
Good luck out there.
Girl in the room.
Well, I'm like, 5'10" and under is usually where I'm aiming.
Okay, I'm glad I got to know you.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
I hope I get to know you more. Okay.
All right,
I'm going to go back to my real job.
That's sweet. So this is like your thing. How long did it take to build this room?
Oh, how long did it take to build this room as he's lighting the thing? Oh, it would just take a fraction of that time for me to scorch it all to the ground. So that's Seth Green. Now here, look at they do have the lights up against the wall. I had suggested that, and for whatever reason, it was not like that on the newer episodes. Now here is a look at that guitar. Yep. And that guitar is no longer there. They removed the guitar after Bill Maher just about knocked down his guitar. And that was the old Marshawn Lynch episode. But Seth Green is trying to get some remodeling tips as he is playing with an open flame.
I didn't build
That's sweet. So this is like your thing. How long did it take to build this room?
I didn't build it. I bought it.
You're kidding. This came on the property already?
Yeah, this was on the property, and it was a mess, but
what was it, like a wine cellar or something?
No, a movie star owned this house. It was full of video games, like it was like an arcade.
Right.
And
video games. Oh yeah, for what? For kids? It was not Matt Damon, but the other one. Or was it Matt Damon? Can't think of his name, but he owned it. The guy who was doing Batman. Ben Affleck. Apparently Ben Affleck owned this before.
It was just terrible. It was full of termites and mold, but I just was like,
there's a vibe to this place. I mean, look at that crooked door.
I love it.
And look at that. Got Rob Reiner popping up. Episode 188. So this was 4 months ago. Let's see when this was filmed here.
You know what people are great at? Avoiding their problems. Maybe it's time to...
4 months ago. So right around the same time as Seth Green. Okay. Oh. Seth Green was immediately after Rob Reiner. Billy Corgan. Just before that.
You know what people...
All right. Well, that was little Seth Green. Okay, it's kind of interesting to go back and see some archive footage before the Epstein mess and before Rob Reiner was brutally murdered. A little bit of a time capsule. Just 4 months ago, it seemed like a whole nother world, and it was right in the middle of a bunch of chaos even back then. Well, we got Tim Dillon to finish. Second half, Tim Dillon, the episode that Joe Rogan claimed to be the best episode of podcast or television history. And we got through half of it. So let us take a look at the second half of Tim Dillon's episode 482, the Epstein Files.
These things come out. The Republicans now.
Okay, so now my YouTube page will always start off slow like that. Okay. Here we are. Tim Dillon.
I'll go.
Back up a little bit and see where we left off.
Bring up the door. Now,
Oh, God.
who goes to the fish is what we can't talk about. I can say you're doing sexual assault. I could say you're a misogynist, but we can't talk about who goes to the fish. Okay? Now, Trump wants the Epstein files gone. Kash Patel wants them gone. His girlfriend, I don't forget her name. What's her name? Yentl? Anyway, she wants it gone. All of these people want it gone. No.
I mean, do we need to discuss Seth Green a little bit here? I mean, because there's a lot of stuff happening with Seth Green. And I feel like there's probably going to be quite a bit more coming out. But I thought it was nice to take a look at a video like that, and especially now all these Epstein files have dropped. Maybe something happened.
Nobody wants these things out except a collection of podcasters, the American people, the victims, whatever. But all the billionaires, all the media, all the political people would rather them go away. Trump would rather these things go away. But Thomas Massey, Rokon, other people, they're pushing it. Pushing it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, pushing it. These things come out. The Republicans now go, we want Bill Clinton to testify because we want to play political points with this, because the Republicans still think this is a political issue, bless their hearts. The Republicans still think that this is a political issue. And this is not a political issue. It's about who goes to the fish. Trump knows a couple of people went to the fish. Now, the Clintons know it too. What people are hoping, now I don't think this is going to happen exactly as people want it to happen, but here's what people are hoping. Bill and Hillary are old, they're skin suits. They've got nothing left. The adrenochrome's wearing off. They have nothing left, truly. He can't fuck anymore. He doesn't even want to live. She's not going to be president anymore. She don't want to live. There are two, my friend just saw her in Qatar. She looks terrible. Tucker just saw her, my friend. Like, I'm going to lie. Like, I have 10 friends in Qatar. But here's the point. They don't want to live anymore. His prize is fucking a white trash chick behind an Applebee's, and he can't do, and threatening her. He can't do that anymore. Her reason for existing is power politics that will end with her ascendancy to become the first woman president. She can't do that anymore. These are people with nothing to lose. They're dangerous. They're dangerous skin suits. They have nothing to lose until they die and go meet their true God. So what people are hoping, what people are praying and hoping for is that they do they want to do an open door session where they are filmed. People want it to be closed door. Let's stop the games. Hillary Clinton calls for testimony in Epstein probe to be public. Hillary can do one more thing on this earth, and she knows it, and it's sink Trump. She can only do one more thing on this planet, and she knows it. And Bill can do something similar. The only thing Hillary Clinton has left to live for right now is to destroy Donald Trump. If Bill Clinton got up and was like, we raped all the babies, we ate the babies, we raped the babies, we ate the babies, we raped the babies.
Now, that reminds me. Did I have this on the list? Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. It's, I know it's here somewhere. Oh my God. Oh man. What is it called? Oh man, what is it called? And let me just play it.
We ate the babies. We raped the babies.
Oh my god. I've got to find it. What is it called? Um I'm looking for a file real quick here. And I can't remember his name, so I gotta go through the. But it just reminded me of this. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't think of his name. What's it? So just give me 1 second. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's.
We raped all the babies. We ate Donald Trump. If Bill Clinton got up and was like, we raped all the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. And you. The only thing Hillary Clinton has left to live for right now is to destroy Donald Trump. If Bill Clinton got up and was like, we raped all the babies, we ate the babies, we raped 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 the babies. Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it, Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it. We fed that woman to the shark, we fed that woman to the shark, we fed her to the shark. Remember, we fed her to the shark. We did it, you did it, we did it, Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it.
They did it, yeah they did it. Donnie T and Hillary Bill Clinton, they was killing and nibbling them children. Reptilians hiding behind billions. Got the government covering, concealing all the worst fears we feel about these villains. Butt rape, duct tape, ripping off the pizza floodgates. Better get Melinda penicillin. Billy, you can leave a home cause you need a bone. Hit the Steenie phone and get Lolita flown. Brother Jeff will spot you some adrenochrome. Bet your mouth gon' water when you see the dome. She can let it slaughter, who's your man? Sleight of hand, Bad Bunny or the Kid Rock. Keep your eye on your car while your Hollywood start spending mad money on that kick.
You think Trump ain't involved? Birds of a feather, but left wing and right wing, they in it together. Vendetta, the feds get better, but redder. Now one shred of evidence left in the shredder.
But Jeff ain't Messiah, ain't no man on a mission. Just handle some business, a man of religion. A cold Luciferian cannibalism. So open the shoe while we handle the victim. And turn on the food, she gon' go to the fishes. The FBI folded, we honor the deal. I take cash potato, eat shit, but he think I'm inviting him out for a meal. Bill and Hill, it's time for the kill. Just one final thrill for you pushing up daisies.
We ate the babies, we raped the babies.
Now all of a sudden the QAnon's not crazy. Whoa.
We ate the babies, we raped the babies. We ate the babies, we raped the babies. We ate the babies, we raped the babies.
Look at that! Oh my god!
We raped the babies. Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it. Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed her to the shark. Remember, we fed her to the shark. We did it, you did it, we did it. Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it. The scream heard round the world.
Oh man. Oh, Crack and Miko. Thank you for pulling out those amazing moments in the minutia and creating such enhanced content. And this is part 2 of us watching Tim Dillon's 482, the Epstein Files. And that was Crack-A-Miko with a beautiful little ditty about this very episode. Our part 1 was yesterday's stream.
Did it. Trump did it. We did it. You did it. We did it. You did it. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed that woman to the shark. And then Hillary goes, we fed her to the shark. We fed her to the shark. Remember, we fed her to the shark. And America is paralyzed by this. And the government.
Oh my God. Okay.
Clinton got up, was like, we raped all the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. And you did it. Trump did it. We did it. You did it. We did it. You did it. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed that woman to the shark. And then Hillary goes, we fed her to the shark. We fed her to the shark. Remember, we fed her to the shark. Has left to live for right now? The only thing Hillary Clinton has left to live for right now is to destroy Donald Trump. If Bill Clinton got up and was like, we raped all the babies, we ate the babies, we raped 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 the babies. Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it. Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed her to the shark. Remember, we fed her to the shark. We did it, you did it, we did it. Trump did it, we did it, you did it, we did it. They did.
So there you have it.
And America is paralyzed by it. We raped the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. We ate the babies. We raped the babies. And you did it. Trump did it. We did it. You did it. We did it. You did it. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed that woman to the shark. And then Hillary goes, we fed her to the shark. We fed her to the shark. Remember, we fed her to the shark. And America is paralyzed by this. And the government might fall. I mean, there's going to be massive protests. There's going to be riots. Still see my show on Mother's Day in Long Island in May. Saturday, Sunday. It's a homecoming. Bring your mothers. It doesn't matter. He goes, listen, we all did bad things. We believe in Baphomet and Baal, and we believe in Moloch, and we sacrifice people, and we fed them to sharks. Hymns, I mean, ED, it happens. And
Funny little rant there.
cdkng.co/audio limited time offer. This is what people are saying. Let's stop the games. If you want this fight, Rep. James Comer, let's have it in public, Hillary Clinton stated. You love to talk about transparency. There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing. Cameras on. We will be there. Bill and Hill. This is their one last kill shot. They have to take Trump down. Do they blow themselves up in the process? Do they admit to raping, killing, and eating children just to take Trump down? And my friends call me. These are sane people. They're not nuts. My friends go, what do you think they'll admit to? I mean, what will they admit to take down Donald Trump? This is the last thing they have to do on earth. Hillary is crawling around the Middle East. Crawling. Get Overlord Damas Guinness up from Blade 3. Overlord Damas Guinness from Blade 3, folks. Friend of the show. This is what Hillary Clinton currently looks like in Qatar right now, if you can find it. Overlord Damas Guinness, Blade 3. She's crawling around Qatar with a cape. Her life force is almost over. She's about to go to her home planet. The one thing that she has left to do, truly, is destroy Donald Trump. She has nothing left to do. There's nothing. What does she do? What does she get? What does she give a fuck about spending time with her grandchildren? Grow the fuck up. She's got a mission, and it's a headshot. She wants to take him out. She wants calls for him to resign. She wants, yes, in the blood, to the left. There. Big.
Oh my God.
That's Hillary right now, getting ready for the hearing. She's getting ready for the hearing right now. She has one thing left to do. And it's destroy Trump, because I don't know what Trump was a part of, but he's probably fucked some underage people, I would imagine, and God only knows what else. He's been accused of horrible things in these files. Now Trump's saying he likes Bill Clinton. Play this, because Trump knows. Here's what Trump knows. Trump didn't fear Hillary when she had something to lose. Do you understand? When Hillary needed the dark overlords, when she needed them, he didn't fear her. Now that she doesn't need them and she's about to slip her skin suit and go back to her home planet, he knows that she will go in front of Congress. There she is with her husband, Bill, and they're going to light this shit on fire. They're going to talk about Trump. They're going to talk about everything. Let's play the video where Trump is talking about liking Bill Clinton.
But it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton.
Oh.
I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me.
He's guilty. It's guilt. This is guilt. He knows. I like Bill Clinton. He knows Overlord Damas Guinness is coming. Now, Hillary and Bill, I wonder if they're going to make it to the hearing. Will they make it to the hearing? Will they make it? Here's what I think it'll be. I think someone tries to get him. Somebody shoots her in the chest, and she falls down. And the CIA, Mossad, whatever, whoever they contracted goes, we got.
You can say all this stuff on, man. I guess Tim Dillon is teaching me how I can do my reaction content. I can say all this stuff about people. I was like tiptoeing. All right.
And then all of a sudden, like a horror film, you just see a shadow 15 feet tall on the wall. And she gets up because she's unkillable. She's unkillable. They realize it. They go, what the fuck? Because she's here for a purpose. Hillary and Bill, I'll be so disappointed. They have to light themselves on fire to take Trump out. They want public calls for his resignation. That's what they want. There's no reason they would do this. For what? They have nothing left. They have nothing left other than the idea that she can light this guy on fire. She could light him on fire. I have more to say about this, but let's take a quick break for that man who killed himself by putting his head in that fryer. Was that at Wendy's? Where did he do this?
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden? Let's just take a quick break
Whoa.
because it's been very dark as an episode. I want to take a minute. This is a male cook who tried to kill himself he put his head in the fryer at Olive Garden. Let's just take a moment. An Olive Garden employee died from burn injuries he suffered after thrusting his head into a deep fryer in what police have categorized as a suicide attempt. The harrowing incident occurred Friday afternoon at the Williamsport, Pennsylvania restaurant where the decadent, what is that? Decedent? Decedent. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were saying the Williamsport, Pennsylvania restaurant where the decadent tour of Italy was served. I'm like, ooh, it's getting sexy. I might have to go over there. In response to an inquiry, Trooper Lauren Lesher, a Pennsylvania state spokesperson, said the incident was a suicide attempt, and out of respect for the individual and their family, we do not release information. Interesting. In a brief phone conversation, a manager at the Olive Garden, which closed for a couple of days after the incident, by the way, for what reason? We are not able to disclose anything due to our privacy laws. So in a subsequent dispatch, the operator added that a male victim went headfirst into the front. So here's what happens, right? He's at Olive Garden, and he's doing it. Chopping it, sauteing it. I'm imagining, I don't know what this goes on at Olive. He's sauteing it. He's chopping the onion. And then some guy goes, yo, it's fucking busy. He goes, yeah, I know it's busy. And he's doing it. He's putting the hot rolls in the baskets and they're burning his fingers, but he's doing it and he's doing yo, it's fucking busy, bro. Table 6 needs bread. I'm doing it as fast as I can. Now he's in one of the darkest places in America, truly an Olive Garden kitchen. That might be worse than that show it again. Show the shark. That might be better than the Olive Garden kitchen. Now, he's in an Olive Garden kitchen. He's putting the hot rolls. Now, these are the people who don't get abducted in human traffic. They end up doing this. It's not good either. He's putting the rolls of bread in the basket. He's putting them in the basket quick, and he's chopping the onions. He's got it because he's also prepped. He's doing some prep, but he's also filling in. He's doing a few different jobs because someone called out
food
Sarah
and restaurant analogies from Tim Dillon
and get her kid back. So he's in the Pennsylvania Olive Garden. He's putting the hot rolls. And they're tasty, those little rolls, aren't they? And he's putting the ranch in the little cups. And he's putting the ranch in the little cups. And he says to himself, listen, how much longer am I going to put the ranch in these little cups? He says to him, he has that thought.
What are you talking about?
He says, let's be honest. How much longer am I going to take this industrial-sized thing of ranch and put it in tiny little cups and serve it with the calamari, which is really like buffalo testicle? It's not even calamari, but whatever. It's actually tasty. The point is this, and a lot of people like the ranch with the breadsticks. Pretty good. He's on his 17th ramekin of ranch that he fills, and it hits him. It hits him. He goes, this could all end right now if I just stuck my head in the fryer in front of everyone. And it'll be such a harrowing image. It'll be such a harrowing image that even though I'll be dead, the people who in this restaurant that see this will be guilted with this forever because they were mean to me and they were not nice. And this image of me putting my head. Now, by the way, this doesn't work. That's why I'm against suicide. No one cares. If you literally if I was mean to you and then you killed yourself in front of me, I literally wouldn't care. So don't do it. Stay alive. But here's my point. And I'm never mean to anyone, truly. But here's the thing. He says to himself, the last thing I can do in this world, the last amount of power I have is to put my head in a burning fryer in front of all of these people because...
Okay, or it could have been someone did it to him. And they're just saying that it was a suicide because they just didn't like him.
It might just ruin their life. Now, I want you to imagine a two-term senator from New York and a first lady who's done a lot of dinners, a lot of interviews, a lot of book signings, and that's her putting those ramekins of ranch on the table. And she's about tired of putting those ramekins of ranch on the table. And she wants to put her head into
Yeah, they had to shut down to clean the oven.
a fryer in front of everybody else in the kitchen. Because the guy who got the job over her, the guy who's running it, who got the management position, she knows that if she sticks her head in the fryer, he's not going to be able to be manager anymore. They're going to fire him. They're going to say, who drove her to stick her head in the fryer? There's going to be calls for that man's resignation. It's not going to bode well at other Olive Gardens that he presided over the head and fryer incident.
I don't think anyone can do that. I think he was pushed in.
She knows that as she sits in Qatar and slinks around in her skin suit. She knows. Get up, get that face. She knows that the one thing she has left to do is put her head in the fryer. The one thing Hillary Clinton has left to do is put her head in the fryer in front of everybody in the kitchen at Olive Garden, because when you've worked in Washington as long as she has, it's all an Olive Garden kitchen. You're just putting the bread in the baskets, education subsidies in the basket. There you go. Oh, this has less calories, actually. It's pretty good. We use the light ranch dressing. Oh, crime bill. Blah. So all it is, it's just a workplace. You're in the kitchen. That's all she does is in the kitchen. And she's now not the manager, and she knows she'll never be the manager. She's out of the game. She's just putting ranch dressing in the ramekin. She's just chopping the onion. She's just putting the bread in the basket. She don't want to do it anymore. The fuck she care about the future of the Democratic Party? Get the fuck out of here. Legacy. Your ass. She's putting her head in the fucking fryer in front of everyone. The sound of the skin. The smell of the burned hair. The scream of the first person who notices it. Ah! Ah! The scream heard round the world. That's all she's got left. All she has left to do is put her head in the fryer. I knocked something out there. It doesn't matter. I can't see anything anymore. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to see. There we go. It's the most apt metaphor I can think. Now, keep going down. After the initial ambulance crew arrived, the second unit was sent to the restaurant to treat a female worker who suffered minor burns. That'll be J.D. Vance. The woman was injured as workers and at least one patron struggled with the male cook in an attempt to stop him from suffering additional self-inflicted burns. Because you remember, the shock of what he just did, his body comes right out of it. Okay? Not our girl. Our girl's going in once for the dunk. And when her head comes out of that fryer, it's going to look like Hellraiser. A completely, perfectly fried face, oozing blood, her eyes falling out of her sockets. Okay? It's going to look exactly like Hellraiser. Eyes full of purpose, although melting out of her face. Skin falling on the floor, the smell of burned hair, her jaw weakened by the temperature, her teeth starting to dislodge from her gums, the blood and pus and ooze all forming a weird, slightly grayish substance. That might just be the hue of the light, but I see it as a gray sludge moving down her face, and the manager coming back in and looking at this face of horror, knowing that he will never again be the manager of an Olive Garden because he presided over the face in fryer incident.
Well, I remember why I didn't listen to too much Tim Dillon. Can't really handle that voice for too long. Yeah, that's in my ear. And I don't want that to be in my ear the whole time. See how much it's being down.
This is what's going to go on when they testify. Because this is the last thing they have left to do. I'm telling you. And Trump knows it, and he's scared. You can feel it. This is the first time he's felt actually vulnerable because none of these people could take him down. Marjorie Taylor Greene can't take him down. Thomas Massey can't take him down.
I still think he has a cool voice, though. I like his voice, but sometimes it's a little much.
But there's something about Bill and Hill, but only if they destroy themselves in the process. The most powerful thing in politics is self-immolation, willing to light yourself on fire. Willing to light yourself on fire, not caring who gets burned in the process. They want to do a public hearing. They
Seth
want to do
Green.
something with spectacle. They want something to be haunting. They want it to be big. Jeffrey Epstein was a Luciferian, money laundering, murderous pedophile whose friends felt like they were above the law and were. These are some of the most demonic and privileged people that have ever lived. They live on yachts and in mansions. They have all the best real estate. They lurk in the shadows. Their eyes hold nothing. The blackness behind their eyes is the only identifiable trait about them, other than their names, which are fucking redacted, but we could also know them. But as a class of people, they're amorphous. They're an amorphous blob, sucking up people, murdering them, maybe cannibalizing them, carpet bombing them, torturing them, driving them all over the world, shattering their hopes and dreams and getting off on it, feeding on their negative energy. And Bill and Hillary Clinton had done that for a very, very long time. And now it's time to stick their head in the fucking fryer of the Olive Garden. Because at the end of the day, they know they're not going to heaven. That was never the plan. It was never the plan. What the fuck would they do in heaven? It was never the plan. But they can go to hell on their terms. They can go to hell on their terms. But they got to drag him down there first. The only thing she ever cared about was getting the big job. It's the only thing that animated her. It never stopped animating her. This entire year, from when he was inaugurated till now, the name Epstein has loomed large over this. This is the key to unlocking more. The early Bitcoin, the guys all over 4chan. He's been so much of the political culture, the hate, the division, all of the stuff that's going on right now. He played some weird role in a lot of it. He's not this weird outlier Gadsby-like figure. He's directly plugged into a lot of the things that impact our everyday lives. And his name looms very large over this presidency because it's not just a story about a pedophile. It's a story about how things ended up looking the way they do. And this is what Bill and Hillary know. They know this. They know this. And they can do it. They can come in and tell everybody, I did it. I did it. I ate a baby. I ate a baby. And yes, we're going to want to kill them, and we should. But this is their last stand. Their last stand is to close the curtain on the bullshit politics they were. Because you got to remember, they're just two white trash goons who are used by these people. Evil? Yes. Rapists? Yes. Monsters? Yes. But they were selected by the people that run things. He was selected to be the chubby, accessible, I like McDonald's too. Like, that's what he was selected to do. He was selected to let those drops of cocaine get into Mena, Arkansas so they could flood the inner cities with them and then put a lot of black people in jail and then fund the Contras. And when those kids discovered it, the boys on the tracks, they crushed their heads. Google that. I don't have the time. Here's the point. No, not you. The people in the audience. We can't get derailed. But here's my point. They were chosen and they were cast in roles and played them. But they were discarded. Do you understand me? Listen up. They were discarded. By the same vampires that chose them, they were discarded. All of a sudden, they were sitting there, face full of blood from a lunch of cannibal shit. And they were like, nah, nah, nah. And they, just like that, it was over. Just like that, the real power was taken from them,
Welcome
drained
back,
from their
Clemens.
little alien fingers. And then they had to go to a series of luncheons and God help us, The View and the Drew Barrymore show and all this crap. They don't want to do that crap. They want to back channel with Putin. They want to install the new president of Syria. They want to build Miami and Gaza. They want to be in the big fucking game. They don't want to do fucking luncheons and Chappaqua and fucking book clubs. And what was it like being a woman politician? What was it like? What was it like getting into the boys club? What was it like? They don't want that shit. She doesn't want that. How dare you? The same vampires that used them discarded them. And now it's time. Now it's time to fight fire with fire. There is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And Hillary may not be a woman, but she's close enough. So I'll tell you this right now. This story can only end with this woman putting her head into the fryer. I will be so disappointed if that doesn't happen. Some version of it. Maybe you don't confess to everything. Maybe you don't confess to everything. But enough of it. You confess to enough. Salacious headlines, calls for impeachment, even from Republicans. A swarm. Revenge, Hillary. Couple of billionaires get walked out of their Hamptons mansions. I watch it all eating Carvel from my car. Oh, my car was stolen. From my friend's car. The point is this. We're at a unique period in history. All of the things, or enough of the things that we thought were true are true. So now what? We need to fully look this in the face. And the only way to do that is really to have someone who was used by these people and partook in it.
Tim Dillon.
And who is evil and a corrupt soul. Bill and Hill. They need to have one last kill. They need to walk up there and raise their right hand and sit there and say, I was putting cups of ranch dressing in a ramekin, just like we all did. Just like we all did. We were picking up food off the floor and putting it into the fettuccine Alfredo, like we all did. We all did it. And then, just when things are getting good, head into the fryer. Think of the kitchen. That person who did this, and by the way, we feel bad for them. Obviously, it's a sad story. R.I.P. Whatever disclaimer you need, because it's actually a great, powerful metaphor, and it's serving a great point right now. So the person who did this had no idea how many people this might inspire. Imagine the kitchen after that, the chaos of the kitchen. Imagine what it felt, looked like, what it smelled like. It will never leave their minds. It will never leave their mind. Someone will be sitting and they will go, I saw a guy years ago. I was working at an Olive Garden. And I saw this guy put his head in the fryer. The manager kept yelling at him that he wasn't getting the ramekins of ranch dressing ready quick enough. And he just had this look in his eye. You know, we had seen him get mad before. Usually he'd go out and smoke a cigarette. But this time he felt like he was really serious. Something had changed. There was a blackness to his eyes. Something was odd. I remember I called his name twice and he didn't even look at me. He didn't even turn his head. He was just so focused. And then I smelled it before I saw it. Skin, hair, I can't even describe the smell. oil entering every orifice of his face. He had put his head in the fryer. He had decided to literally fry his head off. He had literally decided to fry his own head off in the Olive Garden kitchen while we were making the Taste of Italy, Tour of Italy, whatever. And I'll always remember that. I'll always remember that. Every time I get stressed out, I go take a walk. I go take a beat. I go breathe deep. Because I remember the smell. And I remember when I saw his face.
But imagine Tim Dillon walking and breathing deep. You would look like Army Hammer.
When I saw his face, there was a sick look in it, kind of like a smile. Now, of course, the skin was so many blisters, so many boils. It would be hard to describe it as a smile. It looked more like a Halloween mask. A Halloween mask in the middle of that Pennsylvania Olive Garden. The manager was stunned, staring, screaming, calling the police, knowing that he'd never again be the manager of a regional chain restaurant in America, which with his convictions was all he could ever hope for. Knowing that he'd be at a drive-thru handing people McDonald's toys within a week because he presided over a gruesome incident that we had to close for 72 hours.
Excuse me. Oh, sorry. Notice how Tim hasn't touched his face, hasn't smashed his face like Jimmy Kennedy. Jimmy Kennedy, his hands are all on his face, doing all. Now, Tim is moving around, bouncing around. He's got the inertia of water slushing around him. So he's got this kind of motion. That's like, yeah, a little bit of water weight. And so he's always kind of like doing this. And then you had Seth Green always trying to pop up on his seat, turn around, trying to lift up, trying to kick. Everyone just moving around.
I remember what it felt like to walk back into that kitchen.
Oh yeah, shuffling papers.
It was dark and haunting. But there was something good about knowing that the work.
And then yesterday, he was swishing it along the table, swiping it like he was David Letterman. But like he was sweeping all the crumbs off the desk.
It happened. That the worst thing in that kitchen that could have happened had happened, and I had witnessed it. I stared it in the face. I watched a man fry his own head off in the Olive Garden in rural Pennsylvania. So I went back.
But this is why I stopped watching Tim Dillon stuff, is because all of his analogies is food or restaurants or dietary thing. Like all of his advertising, it's all like this kind of food program. I just can't listen to people talk about food. I have no interest in that.
Back to that kitchen, and I felt powerful. And I put the ranch dressing in the ramekins, and I got the bread ready, because it's always somebody who's hungry at the Olive Garden. Hillary, it's time.
In on it.
All right, well there you go. Oh, this is our part 2 of that. That was Tim Dillon Bringing the heat. Ooh. Laying out the old Epstein files. We took a look at Seth Green 4 months ago. He was the guest just after Rob Reiner. And a lot of great information in this one. He sounds different. Seth Green has developed his own way of speaking. How dare you not sound like us? But this is before all the Epstein and before Reiner's murder. And it's just 4 months ago. Well, we got more in the pipeline here. I think we'll wrap it up with that, and I mean, another curb too. Yeah, I'm gonna give a day or two. We got all those compilations, every single one of them, Epstein related. That's what I was excited about doing one that was a few months old, but then it had so many other connections to it. It's wild. But there you have it. And this being the night that we hit 200 subscribers. Oh man, thank you so much. These are late nights, and appreciate the opportunity to lower those cortisol levels and allow your brain to shut off and your mind to expand. And with Tim Dillon and his political rants and all that, we don't really focus too much on the political stuff, just when the comedians discuss it a bit. But I'm looking forward to a new Club Random and a new Jamie Kennedy. Also, we might be drunk with Mark Norman, the old Norman Nudge. I think we can set up a whole game with that. So once one drops, we'll be able to play the Norman Nudge. Get your bets in now. I'm thinking there'd be a good 35 points. 25. Let's do 25. But I appreciate it, and you got shows that you like us to cover, send them to our email, and otherwise we'll we just go through the whole comedy scene that's out there. So appreciate it, and hope to see you again. Thank you.